Martin, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Mate, I'm so fantastic. I think you should lock me up in a big iron cage with a big padlock that says, "This man is so firing, don't let him out."
Is that
Yeah,
because you're winning the war? It's going your way. It's going your way, mate.
mate, spiritual battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every day, and it's
The
quite,
pendulum. The pendulum always swings back.
yes,
Always swings back.
it does, but it's so funny now, Mark, because like I view life and people and relationships in a really different light now. Um, I've, I've really realised it. I don't want to sound like really judgmental because there was a time in our life. You're not born enlightened, are you? It's certainly not into this bloody crock of you know what, but it's something you all learn. So what I mean is, we all were a bit like in the dark once, weren't we? And a bit naive and doing silly things and probably been a bit horrible to people. Well, you know, doing a lot of stuff we probably shouldn't have done, whatever. But you had your experience over there in Iraq. Getting, we're going to show friends at home. We're going to show you a bit of Martin's footage in a minute, even though it will get us kicked off YouTube. But you had your experience there, mate, and I've obviously been, had a few scraps over the years. But in life now, I never realised if you fight the spiritual battle, you're a very different person to get on with. You know, it's like me and you. I look really looking forward to tonight because I just know we always have a good chat. I know you got my back, I got your back. There's no, there'd never be any nonsense between us. And yeah, what a funny way to start a podcast.
I've had an interesting year. Obviously, I've been on a building site for the last year. I mean, you know, I've been working on a building site, and that helped me pay for a lot of these festivals that we've been to, and winning the Cannes World Film
He's
Festival.
plugging his film already, folk. Look at that. How many seconds was that? Three
Look at all
seconds.
these, look at all these awards. It's
Ha-
took me ages to put these certificates up.
I'll tell you what, right? Let's promote the hell out of your achievements, mate, because you are a shining light in the darkness of what can be achieved. When hang on, Mike.
Do you know how many holes and pits I've had to dig on a building site to pay for these festivals?
I've
But every pit I dug, I knew it was for the right reasons, and it's all paid off. And
yes.
big shout out to MC Builders. I've been working in Lou to
Are they actually called MC Builders?
yeah, like MC Hampner. It's Mark Cottingham. Well, their son that edited this film. So they
Oh,
literally
mate.
built this film on a built their son is the editor, and yeah, he managed to put this film together when it was it's called Jordan Cottingham, and
Yes.
he's now working for Netflix.
Wow. And I have actually quasi met him, or at least been sat 2 seats away from him, haven't I?
Yeah, well, they were trying to urge the parents to make more, didn't they? I don't know if you remember that. No, he didn't turn up to premiere because he had the old TV, like, so he couldn't come along. But
Oh, so I was staring at someone else thinking that was Jordan the whole night.
yeah, no, he wasn't there. He's a phantom, mate. He's the ghost. He spent
Yes.
all his time in when everyone was in lockdown, just editing away. And for a 19-year-old lad to put this film together, the intelligence this guy's shown, like, because I was thinking he's a youngster, how is he going to get his head around PTSD, domestic violence, mental health? And he's definitely the second director because he pulled out of a film that was just basically a load of crap on a hard drive. It wasn't a load of crap, it was shot really well. But you could have the best film in the world. But if you don't know how to edit it and put that, you edit yourself. You've got to extract the film from all of the content that you've got.
I know people don't get it, do they? They think
Don't
edit.
realize how editing is so
Uh,
hard.
we got there's my man Luke there in the chat, or
Luke
ruling
Pepper, big
ru-
shout out to Luke, nice
yeah,
guy. I
ruling
met him yet.
yeah, ruling the chat with his iron rod, but it's you just would never know the hours that goes into it just for a like a 6 minute clip or something can take 3 days to it's I mean okay there's probably super fast editors out there that it's they've been
Richard Atkinson, you met him, who edited the first film, Diary of a Disgraced Soldier. The first film I made, literally, he had 300 hours of I might be insulting him there, 300 hours of not like hard drive stuff, but the DV tapes. Remember, because when we were first shooting that documentary, with those little DV tapes, remember the little digital videotapes?
yes
And then you've
I do.
got to then you've got to format that, put it onto, you've got to format it into electrical data. I don't know how they do that. And then compile the film. And he spent, I think, 2 years putting Diary together.
Yeah.
And it was, if it wasn't down for these two editors, so Richard Atkinson and Jordan Cottingham, I wouldn't have these two films. So they're remarkable people that are willing to sit down and go like Luke does with your stuff and put together something so it's watchable.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but if I was to get anybody else, they charge me thousands, Martin, and I have had to pay other people, and it just becomes ridiculous because they're earning like 5 times more. Well, probably 50 times more than the podcast makes.
Yeah.
Some of our videos make, well, a lot of them don't make any money because they're demonetized right from the go. Some of them, you get a really great guest. You have the best chat of your life, or one of them, and they make like £1.50. And it's all the effort contacting people, phoning them up, swapping details through email. It doesn't even pay for me to do this bloody overlay to put their net, to get it, find it on my hard drive.
But it's content that you're producing. It's the value. Like your stuff could be viewed in 1,000 years' time. The stuff that you're producing, like Diary of a Disgraced Soldier. I know that film has never been a hit. Because not a lot of people want to sit through watching someone, an hour of watching someone go through post-traumatic stress disorder, videoing themselves doing it. But at some point, that film will be studied and looked back at. And now we're coming up for, was it the 20th anniversary next year of Iraq? People are going to start perking up a bit of interest because as time goes on, people show interest in the wars gone by, don't they? So people might be interested in some of the angles that we covered. But this is a big shout out to all the editors out there. You do an amazing job, and it's always good to have that second opinion in it, because sometimes we'll make something, we think that's great, but then an editor will come down and take it like right down to like what you've got, an hour down to 20 minutes worth.
Absolutely. It's no different. It's exactly the same process as in writing, is kill your darlings, get rid of it. Yes, I know you love writing it. You love filming it. You thought, oh, this will make them. No, just if it doesn't need to be there, cut it. Less is more, isn't it?
To be fair, when we made Penitent, there was only a couple of like times where I had to sort of put my foot down as a director, saying, no, this is, because obviously I had my vision, but pretty much 80% of everything that Jordan did throughout the film was better than what I could have imagined. Does that make sense? It was like better than what I was like, oh my God, like when he put all the stuff in with the dream sequence stuff that's in the film and everything, all that he added like that, it sort of brought another dimension to the film, almost like he was psychically reading my mind of what I wanted, but it was better than what I expected.
Yeah. Listen, before we go any further, so let's just show our friends at home a bit of your footage. So just bear with us, mate.
Okay.
Friends at home, I gotta pause this a bit because every podcast I've done with Martin has had the old money thing scrubbed off it. So there's something we're saying, Martin. it's probably this little clip, so I might just try and get away with playing a little bit.
Is that why I've never made a penny from it?
Yes. Yes, your royalties, mate, they're going straight to YouTube. Right, here we go. Let's have a look.
People say, why would you put your documentary of Diary of a Disgraced Soldier? Well, the public sort of humiliation of being labelled a war criminal. And I agreed to that title because that's what I was labelled by the media.
Oh yes, you're gonna get it. The government, the MPs. David Miliband last night on TV said, "Oh, I'm totally proud of what Tony Blair." You dangle a load of troops in a fucking small area, a very small area, lots of Iraqis round, all wanting to kill you. How am I supposed to act? Tell me, tell me. The media have had their say, the government have had their say, the army have had their say, and me, the soldier in the middle, I haven't said shit yet.
Yeah, mate, I'm so happy it's all come good for you. Not that I like. There's a doubt it would, because good things happen. You know, if you behave yourself, good things happen to you, don't they? And
well, it's interesting when you were playing that, because I could hear it in the back of my headphones, and it's always a test for me, because like there was a couple of comments put today, like from people I know and I grew up with, and that put like, "Oh, you're not a disgraced soldier" and stuff like that. And it was interesting when I saw those today, because you know I do worry a little bit, like what me mum and people that are close to me think when they see it, because it doesn't affect me, but I wouldn't like it to affect other people, And on the building site, lads make a joke and that about it, and the thing is, I can laugh about it now. I couldn't laugh about it years ago. If I'd gone back 15 years post all my therapy process and stuff like that, I couldn't even laugh about it. It used to make me feel sick. So when I was listening to that in the AR headset or whatever, I was testing myself and going, does that pull me? Obviously, it's not something I want to spend the rest of my life constantly watching all the time, but it's a test for me to realize how far I've come. And yeah, all these awards are great on the things I'm doing now and whatnot, but one of the greatest things I learned was to get to that point in your life where it doesn't matter what anyone writes about you. What people think, was it I read it the other day, what people think about you is none of your business, because unfortunately we live in a world now where people get very offended by what's written about them, stuff like that. And if you've got mental health issues, that's just going to compound those factors. So all I say to anyone out there struggling with that is, if you've got a label, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. You've just got to work on yourself to get to that point where whatever, if someone gives you a t-shirt and it says dickhead on it and you choose to wear that, that's your choice to wear that. If someone gave me a t-shirt to say wear a t-shirt that said disgraced soldier, I wouldn't wear it, because I know I'm not a disgraced soldier, Yeah,
exactly. It's there's lots of stuff, isn't there? There's what's the expression that Naz Hussain taught me? The dogs bark, but the caravan keeps moving. I love it. or flax heaviest when you're over the target, isn't it?
Or being labelled disgraced by people who I view as the media, especially in this country at the moment, as some of the most abysmal human beings on the planet. To be labelled a disgrace by probably the personification of evil itself is quite a tall order. So yeah. I laugh at people like, because when all this smoke is cleared and the dust has settled, I wouldn't want to be part of the media or all these people that have been pushing this agenda for the last year, because they're going to have a real.
Let's just stick with the word agenda, just because.
Yeah,
No. I, mate, I'm totally on board. It's falling down, isn't it? It's coming down quickly. It's coming down quickly, and
the rats are jumping this ship like they're and backpedaling like there's no.
I just got massive feelings of pride welling up in me for all those people. Well, some of us called it from the beginning, didn't we? Right from the start, we said, "Come on, really? But
again, Chris, because of what you've been through and what I've been through, it's easy for us to see that. But when the veil had to fall, and now it is falling and crumbling around. People are now starting to see it and waking up. But unless you've had that realization, if everything's perfect in your life, how can you ever, everyone was in their comfort zone,
Well, many still are, aren't they? And it's just incredible that off such a bad thing, so much goodness.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
So much goodness has come out of it. And when I see, it's almost like they tried to do this, and what it actually caused, rather than like more totalitarianism, it's actually caused a great awakening. Didn't really, you have to keep faith all along. Otherwise, why would you talk about freedom? Why would you dedicate your life to it? Or certainly, I think I can hold my hand up, as can a lot of people, and so pretty much dedicated 2 years.
I think for me, that the heroes that I've seen is the 100K. I mean, I don't know if I can say that on here, but the 100K for me, I mean, I'm in talks with three medical professionals that are in the, in that system, and they are literally facing down the barrel of a gun. They've got mortgages to pay, they've got kids to feed, and they're just like, we're not gonna take this procedure or whatever, and they're about to lose their job for it. And I've been chatting with them, and what I did was 3 of them contacted me separately, and then what I did is I put them together in a group, and I've just been trying to offer them a little bit of just saying, hold the line, please hold the line. Obviously they're not going to do the procedure or whatever, but it's just to see. I thought, what would I do if I was in their position? You've worked hard, you've spent 20 years of your life into something that you totally believe in. And I remember when I got to the army, and with all that happened in Iraq, and then when all the veils started to crumble around, and then the media turned on me, and the British Army turned on me, and you realize that you're just a number, a very small cog, a very small broken cog in a huge machine. And then I feel sorry, but then perhaps they've got to come out of that system. I don't know. I even offered them, I said, if you want to get involved, what I'm doing with the therapy work that I've been doing for the last, because I would love to have some of these people, because the moral fiber they're showing now with standing up to this huge of losing their, I mean, that for me, that they are freedom fighters, modern day freedom fighters. Through a battle of it's all psyops, isn't it? It's going on. It's all this.
Yeah,
but I just think it's going to swing back the other way, and it's all going to get scrapped. I just think if they can hold the line right to the last safe moment, like what they call it in the military terms, the last safe moment is the last round going down. I think they'll definitely U-turn, and it will be a victory for the 100K. Because, God, I feel so sorry for their situation,
Yeah, and what it will do, or certainly what it needs to do, is snowball into not stopping there. Because if
it goes through with them, then it's been, and then I think then what we've got to wait for is then all the legal stuff will go through, because you'll get all the legal stuff to start to happen. And once that starts to happen, I reckon in the next 2 years, you're going to see, have you been unfair dismissed? Or I think all that stuff, the lawyers will be all over it. It'll turn into a business. And they'll look back at this 2 years and think, God, I can't believe. And all these people that have been bullying people and perpetrating this stuff, they'll come to jail. The pendulum always swings back.
Yeah, but let's remember a few things. So first off, all these people bullying are just minor puppets in the game, aren't they?
I know that. I know
bosses
that.
in the NHS, they're dickhead corporate lead. They ain't pulling the strings. This agenda ain't going nowhere, and anyone that thinks it is utterly deluded, right? And this is the danger that we're already falling into, is people think it's about the last 2 years. Whoa, come on, do your reading. This book was written 70 years ago, Martin, right?
Yeah.
I'm just sorry, I don't get my lecturer's head on, but it's like we don't just stop at Berlin this time. We go all the way to Moscow, if you get what I'm saying. That's a really good. That's a really good euphemism, metaphor.
Yeah, it's good, mate. That's good.
Mm.
You want to copyright that one?
And when we get to Moscow, bloody Siberia.
And I love the Russians as well. I hate all this stuff about starting a war. Russia. Now, without Russia, we wouldn't have defeated Hitler and that tyranny. I mean, I don't want to get into all the politics of like who was on what side or whatever, but you know, in the day, it's just another narrative they're going to start pushing now. Oh, let's hate Russian people. No, let's not hate Russian people. In the day, it's let's come together. Let's be grown up, sit around the table, and talk about things, and let's not have another 2 years.
This is exactly the point I made at the start. Is can you see now in life who's not grown-ups? Like literally, they think they're adults, but they're actually children just in a grown-up.
What I don't get is how the extreme left, who are supposed to be so lovey-dovey, oh, we love everyone, we want to save everyone's lives, are so that they have this almost like psychotic behavior of like becoming it's almost like daddy issues, mummy and daddy issues that they have, the unresolved, like with the pushing of the agenda that's just gone past. It's just, but if I can just go back to one point that I noticed, right, when I was a soldier, when I served out in Iraq, right, and just before I went to Iraq, we were all told you need to take the 6 injections. I think it was the 6 injections I had of anthrax, right? We got told that Saddam was going to use chemical weapons on us, he was going to use nerve agent on us and anthrax and stuff that horrendous weapons of mass destruction and biological chemical weapons. So we're going for all our nuclear, biological, chemical weapon training. We're getting the anthrax jabs. We're even being shown a video that says, look, this is directly linked to post-traumatic stress disorder from Gulf War One, and saying that the combination of having anthrax in a real small period, right, having the inoculations that the government were offering and taking a nerve agent pre-treatment scent was what triggered Gulf War syndrome, apparently. So we were watching these videos, and even the MO was going like, you know, you don't have to take this, but we recommend you take it because, and it was very much and then like our senior officers were saying, well, if you don't take it, you're not going to war. And obviously I wanted to go to war, and I was like, get that stuff banged into me. You can't get that stuff quick. Get it in me now. That's how, because of my programming. My programming is this was my moment to go to war, and no one was going to stop me. I even fell out with my parents because my dad said it was a load of rubbish and that Tony Blair was a liar and all this stuff. And I was like, no, it's not. You know, we need to go there. We need, 30 minutes notice to move, that they can have Scud missiles into this into England. And again, it was believing the bullshit. So I was like so programmed to believe in what I was doing because I had to go out and do that job. And I remember being nasty to other soldiers that weren't. Again, I'm not taking that jab. I remember being that myself, being that angry. Go, well, why not? You're in the military. You take the jab. And I'm
Can
just
we
being.
stop using the J word?
All right, sorry. Take the anthrax. Take the nothing else.
Take the thing.
Take the thing. That's it. Take the thing. Okay, so just going back to where my mental state was, and I remember being so angry because I hadn't awoken. It was only till I became ousted out of the military, which I left on my own accord in the end, and I become awoke at the devastation that I've been involved in Iraq and all the problems we caused and all the millions of people that died over there and all of that disaster, all of that carnage that we created in Iraq for that country. And then the PTSD began, and it was the PTSD was the awakening of all the lies I'd swallowed, but also being stupid enough to think that, taking the thing. And now I see again history repeating itself. And because I've been through that process and I woke up, a lot of these people will look back in 10 years' time and go, oh my God, I can't believe I believed what the government were telling me. But it takes time.
Yes.
Does that make sense what I'm trying to get across? That I've been that person who's been negative towards people, and then I awoke from that.
Yeah, well, this is what I was saying, isn't it? Here's the funny thing. I mean, we were all that person once. I remember when our aircraft carrier pulled into Bremerhaven in Germany, and these harmless peace campaigners walked down the dockside. And they were handing out some, I don't know, Greenpeace leaflet. And
You like that?
and they try to give one to me. I remember, like, I either shoved the guy away from me, or I took the leaflet and I just rip. You know, and even if I didn't
Oh,
do,
Chris,
if I didn't
that's
actually,
awful. That's
yeah, but
awful.
if I didn't actually do those things, it's like I was thinking of doing it. You know,
You're going straight to hell for
well,
that.
this is the thing, though. But
What
the
was his face when you ripped it up? What was his face like?
well, it was the same. I was in. God, I was a real bastard. You know, when I was in Canada once, I was backpacking around Canada, and some guy walked towards me, and this was the first Gulf conflict,
Hmm.
and he had a like a troops out the Gulf t-shirt, and you know, obviously now I know he's like one of the good guys. He knows what's going on the planet.
He was switched on. He was.
Yeah, but back then, I'm like, I got my camera out and I just like made a real point of taking his photo, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, don't take my photos." I'm like, "Yeah, f you," and this is it. But
But do you not think that when you go in the military, you have to think in a certain mindset? If I didn't behave in a like, if you listen to that behavior I'm producing on the camera, like when you listen to that, people go, "Oh my God, that's horrendous." You go into war, you mean you have to become like that. You have to become madness to survive madness. You can't go in half cocked. You can't go into Basra or Alamara. This place is the Wild West. It's like, you know, like going into Afghanistan or something like that. You can't go in there half cocked. You have to give the analogy of a rugby tackle. If you're going for a rugby tackle, if you've ever played rugby tackle, you don't go in. If you go in hesitant, you're going to injure yourself. You have to be 100% committed. Same as in a boxing match. You can't go into a boxing match, all flaky and wishy-washy. You'll get chinned, you know? You have to, it's almost like you have to psychologically come into a different mindset to survive. To survive whatever sort of
yeah, but
mentality.
that's two different things, though. Putting on your war face is because you're up for a scrap. That's one thing, but putting on a war face when you're actually enlightened and you don't believe in all that horseshit.
Oh no, I could, yeah, but I'm saying it's taken me a long time to get there.
Yeah, no. All I'm saying is, you wouldn't be in Iraq if you was the latter category, would you? Like,
No.
because you wouldn't be in the armed
No.
forces, or certainly you'd be seeing your CO and saying, "Look, I want to sit this." I saw someone's talking about sitting out one of these conflicts, and an expression came back to me that I hadn't heard for almost 30 years, and they were calling him a war dodger, as though they were the coward. Where in actual fact it's a real brave thing to do, isn't it? Is to stand by your moral compass.
Oh my
and
God,
say,
yeah. Well, when you watch that, what's that thing? Not Heartbreak Ridge, Hacksaw Ridge, with that lad that went into combat with no weapon, and I mean, God, what an evolved soul he was. You know, you've watched that yet, have you?
Yes, I have. Just kept going back and forth with a stretcher, didn't he? And pulling out. Was it in Iwo Jima or somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way that conscientious objectors were treated or shot, even, crazy stuff. Crazy.
Yeah, well, friends coming out of revealing that they're gay in the army. Like, I mean, we had a friend called I won't say his name, but he's a high up sergeant major now. But he came out in the early 2005, when I think 2000 it was made legal, because when I first joined in 95, it wasn't legal to be able to go into the army and so to come out in a very, very masculine dominated, and he was a serious unit, like, so no one was going to say anything to him. He's got a lot of admiration for him for doing that, and making it easier for other people to come out, or whatever their sexuality is. But yeah, it's just
mate, tell me something. What am I saying? I've had a real mind thingy-my-jig. it was the second Iraq conflict you were in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, because we've got Mr. Outsiders asking in the chat. And
I was at school. I was at school in the first one. Just so you know.
But I was on ship for the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friends out there would be bored hearing this, but we were actually one of the first ships to set sail. And as were just about to pull away from the dockside in Portsmouth, it came over the tannoy. Oh, no, stand down. We're not going anymore. They're sending the new Atlantic conveyor. Yes, with the second one. How old are you now then, Martin?
I thought it was 47, but I'm 46. I did it a year on. I was 46 at Christmas.
Yeah. God, you're just a mere whippersnapper.
Well, am I 10 years behind you, am I?
6. Steady.
You just call me a whippersnapper, so I just took that. Just did some deduction there. So I've been back doing therapy work. I was doing some therapy work yesterday.
Mate, just tell me something. I'm gonna play a bit of your Penitent. Can I do that? I'll play it off your YouTube channel. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be good. Just don't give the punchline away for the film.
Well, it's your trailer, so I'm guessing you've not been.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, dude, please do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Here we go, folks. God, excuse me, sir. I've got to cough.
Is anyone watching?
I don't know how to. I'm not sure what I've got to pause. Hang on, let's try this one.
Show me your war face. You got a war face, pa.
I don't know if you could hear me then, or I don't know if you could hear me, or
yeah,
you probably could, but I don't think they could at home. Right, let's have a look at this, shall we? Look. So, can you say something, Martin?
You got a war face, pal?
Okay.
Show me your war face.
Right, let's play this. Right, we'll have to shush. Hang on, friends, 1 second. Let's just try and sort this out. We're not getting desktop audio for some reason. Bear with us, folks. Try again. What a dick. I had it on mute.
Just need something.
You had it on mute on YouTube.
I had it on mute on YouTube. Hey, come on. These things happen. Right.
Why does it do that immediately? It's funny, isn't it? Like...
Here we go again.
So is it playing now, is it?
How can I help you today, Mr. Kelly?
There's nothing really wrong. I'm just not sleeping very well.
You're on the screen, so don't
you
know.
Can you tell me how you feel, please?
I don't know. Freaking do handstands or something.
I just need something that can help me sleep.
I see here that you've been discharged from the army. Is that anything to do with it?
There's a mega handsome dude has just appeared on the screen in a blueberry.
Did you ever notice what's on the vodka bottle? In the film.
Look.
Guillermo.
War is the most despicable human condition ever created. Whatever you did at war stays with you forever. You did it to survive. And you did whatever you thought was right at the time. And no civilian will ever understand what you did or what you saw there.
risks. We knew why we signed up. Get a grip, take responsibility. Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Sounds like you got nothing. You don't know nothing.
Wow. Blooming hell, mate. That's that. I'll tell you what, has anyone else said this? It gets better. Not that it's not brilliant anyway, but it really like grows on you, this film.
It'd be worth watching it again. I watched it the other night, and there's always something different you see in it, and that again comes down to a lot of the editing that Jordan did. That I just and then the sound as well, because we had this guy called Paul Roberts who did the sound. He'd done all the sound mixing for Porridge, Only Fools and Horses. Honestly, you can literally look up his resume.
What's
Guardian,
his name?
Paul Roberts. He doesn't want me telling anyone that he was doing it because he did the Pythons as well. He did Monty Python stuff as well. Sound, Porridge, Open All Hours, Paul Roberts. If you go onto our IMDb page and find Paul Roberts sound, he only wanted sound dubbing, but literally when I was going through all this stuff, not Guardians of the Galaxy, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he did that, the original one.
Yes.
He did the sound for that. Floyd, he was good friends with Keith Floyd, did all his I love all the Keith Floyd Floyd on Fish programs from years ago when he used to get drunk to make food.
Yeah, Floyd on Fish. It always makes you feel hungry and you want to drink.
Oh yeah, I do. Whenever I watch Floyd, Keith Floyd, he was amazing. But yeah, Paul Roberts did an amazing job with the sound, and he really pulled out all stocks on that. And big shout out to William Guy Revod. He is a French actor who's going to play Napoleon, so you'll be getting to meet him.
I was pronouncing his Guillermo, right?
Yeah, like so the way he explains it is like William, but William, like William Revod. So we just call him Guy because
William. Yes,
William. Like,
I met him, haven't I?
Mate, he is passionate. Mate, he is that night that you came to the premiere. When he walked down the street, that was when I came up with the idea for Napoleon, because he was walking down and his hand was in this, and I went, "Oh my god, why don't we make him Napoleon?" And he's so passionate, he's so fiery. He loves his country. This man is like born to play Napoleon. He's going to do loads better than Whacking Phoenix and that shower of shite they're going to do. You watch Exile's going to be, it's going to be the cult version, the cult movie that people can talk about for years. That goes into the psychology of Napoleon.
Yes, I'm going to be in Napoleon, aren't I?
You are, yeah. You're gonna, yeah. I'm gonna go. You're gonna go deep, though, mate. It's gonna be like Napoleon on crystal meth.
You don't think I'm going to steal the show, though, do you?
I think your eyes are. Your eyes. We're going to do loads of It's going to be a bit like Kubrick.
I'm going to start writing my Oscar speech now. Then.
You're going to be cut in half. You're going to be lying like that, and the camera's just going to slow pan in on your face. And then, like when Napoleon's on his deathbed, this is the scenes I see. Like it's just going to be slowing on your eyes. Like imagine finding someone who's just been blown in half, and how long it would take them to die of those sort of wounds. So that's what we want to go deep into, like that psychology, and then we're going to show a couple of days of progression of what would that, like in American Werewolf in London when he comes back. And he's sort of like each day he's rotting a little bit more. So you're going to be the rotting man.
Yes. Oh.
And the way I say it, it's just your eyes, because you've got those piercing blue eyes. And now, like, because Napoleon gets off his horse, and you think, when something in battle just sort of takes your attention away of whatever's going on. Like, of all the people this man is seeing die through his crusades across Europe, he gets off his horse, and this one British soldier is just lying there, which is going to be you as a redcoat, blown in half. Probably get Luke Pepper behind you as well, with a couple of bleeding wounds, like some arterial blood coming out or something. And you're going to be just like looking at him, and he gets off his horse, and then it's going to be like just a slow. He's just going to take in your eyes. And you're sort of like looking at him, oh my God, there's Napoleon, like, but you're about to die. And then apparently it took 4 months, was it 4 weeks for the people to die on the battlefield? So imagine sitting there. So we want to try and show that in a film. Does that make sense? So that's So that's going to be your explanation of your exploration as a character. What would that be like? What would that feeling be like if you knew that you was on the battlefield and you got 4 weeks to sit this out? The psychological torment that you would have gone through, the pain you might have felt, you'd probably be slipping in and out of consciousness constantly. So
I can't wait. Is it a speaking part at all?
yeah, because when Napoleon's dying, you're going to be coming and visit him. So there's going to be it's not going to just be like one day. That there's going to be when Napoleon's dying on his deathbed. I'm probably giving too much away in the film, but we all know he dies. I want him to then going into the psychological torment of slowly dying on his bed of the stomach poisoning that he had, whether it had been induced from the arsenic or did the British. We're going to leave all that the guessing for whatever people want to interpretation they want to put on the Napoleon film. So you see how I thought about this a lot, mate. It's not, and then it's going to be you coming to him and you're almost guiding him through his last hours.
Wicked. Yeah. He doesn't actually die in this one though, mate. I haven't told you that yet. Hey, do you get that a lot? Do you get what? Actors that just think that they're going to usurp you or something? And
no, because I always work like the thing is you got the whole thing about collaborating is like I tell you he's really good to collaborate. It was Julian Cigar because Julian, like 9 out of 10 times, is going to come up with something better than you could ever conceive. But once he's in the zone and he's method acting, like the bit when you watch when he's killed the soldiers and he just rolls a cigarette and he's got blood on his hands and all that stuff was all his idea. You know, or when he shoots the kids, like, and the way he does it is just effort. Oh my God, just ruined the film, right? But the way he does it, it's done in a way relaxed. All of that stuff is all of his.
That's in the trailer, by the way, because as I was playing that trailer, I thought, oh my God, if this podcast isn't already demonetized, it definitely is now. I found that really hard.
Why would it be demonetized? I'm saying.
Oh,
now they're going like that, mixing it. So I can't. Are you still online?
Yeah, I'm
Hello?
still here. You've paused. Are you still there? Don't leave me. Hang on. Bear with us, folks.
You still there?
Yeah. Oh, there we are. Yeah.
They went like that and shut us off.
Yeah. On my screen, I kept it real, dude.
I kept talking.
Yeah. Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah. When I came to the red carpet, the premiere, I couldn't watch that bit. Because I'd seen it before. You sent me an advance copy, didn't you? And I just treated myself to an hour off one afternoon or an hour and a half, and I watched it and did. When it came to premiere, and I knew what was coming, and I'll tell you what it is. It's that shit. You know, bring kids into it. It means something different when you're a parent, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? For me, because I filmed it and I saw those kids running about when we were playing, actually one of them sat in the tree and ruined one of the shots because he was just sitting there watching the scene, and we had to digitally edit him out. He was sitting in the tree while Babatov's doing his stuff. And I was like, we didn't see him, like, and he was just sitting in the tree watching, like, and it was only until we played it back. So we had to literally like smudge him out. And he's like that. They're sat there giggling in the tree, like watching.
So it hasn't got the sting for you because
For me, I just saw kids playing around and they loved it. So for me, it doesn't have that.
I mean, this is film for you. This is film at its finest. Is it just encaptured how atrocious war is?
Yeah.
And just awful, just utterly horrific beyond, what even most like British soldiers would experience, because they're not seeing these atrocities, and that's what they are, aren't they? I mean, they're seeing some of them, or some will see some of it, but first hand, a father being, I don't even want to say the word, but having that done to him in front of his kids is just
Well, that Jim Main who played, he's in Fisherman's Friends. Jim Main who played the guy begging, like, that was the first time I met Jim. He literally turned up in a suit and was speaking Bosnian. So he'd learnt Bosnian the night before. He'd learnt the phrases. So all those things he's. Go on, you was going to say something.
No, I'm in amaze that that's taking it seriously.
But what's amazing about when you make a film is like you do these storyboards. Like I was literally storyboarding. I was storyboarding yesterday, and I've got another idea for a right. That's a woman, and she's looking up, and there's a Spitfire going over a church.
You don't use crayons then?
I just use a pencil.
That's pretty advanced.
Yeah, I'm infantry.
I suppose you hold it like that, do you? I still hold them a bit like that.
Did you used to do sketches in Northern Ireland of little, remember doing that? You go to like on Overwatch and then do a sketch. I always got to do all the little drawings of where we'd been, and you did an OP.
No, I had. Do you remember those cameras? And you went like this to load it. They were little rectangular things.
The one that James Bond uses, isn't it?
Well, like a bigger version of that. And every week that I was in Northern Ireland, I filled up a film, and I shoved it in one of those free envelopes, and it went off. And lo and behold, next thing you know, I've got loads of photos of.
Have you?
Yeah, I've probably lost a few of them now, but I mean, most of them are in an album. I've got all the murals that they had back then.
Yeah.
Can I just answer some people in the chat that are asking about life coaching or support? Join me Sunday. On Sunday, I'm doing a 5-day Lost to Legend Kickstart program.
That's brilliant.
It's not a gimmick. I'm not trying to make anything off anybody. It's just, I'll show you in 5 days how you go from having that horrible feeling like the world's not working for you, bit depressed, anxious, how just by doing maybe 4 simple things a day, like one of which is smile at the sun, say gratitude, one of which is make a salad for lunch or have a green smoothie, even better, right? Really simple stuff that anybody can do. Walk around the block, easy. But I do it whenever to be honest, I never get depressed, but it's hard not to when you used in the old party days. It's kind of hard. It kind of went with it, and to get over that kind of thing, I just do this, and it gets great results. People do it, and then they just never want to go back, Martin.
That's awesome.
So guys, if you're wondering, I'll try to remember to put a link below this video for the Zoom, and it's starting Sunday at 6 o'clock. I'm going to do 3 Zoom calls, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then we can all report back how we're getting on. There's 12 things you can do, and if you only do one of them, your life will be better. So if you only make a salad for lunch on one day, your life will be better. If you make a salad for 5 days, it will be even better. If you make a salad and jog around the block, it will be even better. If you want to be really daring and turn the shower on cold after you've had your shower in the morning, and
yeah, I've been doing that. That's good. It's a good little.
Yeah. Bear it. You'll start off, you can do like 3 seconds, and then eventually you just become like a regular Wim Hof, but much better looking.
He smokes fags, doesn't he, Wim?
Yeah.
We've seen he smokes tabs. He still smokes the cigarettes, and he does his.
He's incredible man, but doesn't he look like he likes a whiskey?
Yeah, but he would probably do a whiskey.
Yeah.
I think everything in small amounts in life, equilibrium.
Yeah. I'm just quite judgmental in the respect, and I don't mean a nasty judgmental, but I like to figure people out, because you can see by people's voices what's going on in their head, can't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, so folks, I'll actually try and put that link.
Can I offer something as well for anyone struggling that's in the chat today? I've got, people might not be aware, but I've been a therapist for the last 10 years, and I do free meditation videos. So if you're struggling with anxiety or anything like that, and you just or you're struggling with getting to sleep, I've just done some videos for the NHS 100K people that are struggling with the anxiety and uncertainty at the moment. So I've got a new Leaf program which is on YouTube. So there's loads of free videos on there. I use them myself. What I do is I make them for myself and I test them out on myself. And they're just guided meditation videos using my HMS therapy techniques and it's basically just NLP and hypnotherapy. But I was teaching it yesterday and it was just lovely to get back to it because it's been a year since I've taught any neuro-linguistic programming and coaching. And it was a load of door staff who run a door staff company. So they're called Guardant Security and run by Kev Lawrence, who's an ex-army guy. And he invited us along to do this coaching day. And what we did, we just worked with all the team, did a bit of therapy work. And then in the afternoon, we did some light hypnosis, hypnotherapy and stuff just to relax the room out. And everyone really enjoyed it. And it was just nice to get back and just do that stuff that I've done, for 10 years.
What's the sort of best things that work? What about meditation? What can you tell us about?
Well, meditation's good, but when I first had when I was, wired to the grid and I was so angry, what I found with meditation is, let me give you an example. So I've worked with Vietnam veterans, right? If you go into a room full of Vietnam veterans, you go, right, everyone now, just allow your eyes to close. I'm going to go into, and I started doing a guided meditation. If I didn't put in some, what we call an authoritarian approach, hypnotherapy based, they could start unpacking them. You'd be opening up Pandora's box and all their shit's going to start coming out of the room. And that's the last thing you want. So the first thing I do when I'm doing a relaxation is going, remember you're in control. Remember you're totally in control and you're only allowed to have a positive experience. Remember you're totally in control and you remember you're only allowed to have a positive experience. The reason why I do that is then I'm putting those like the red bit in the pamphlet before you do your flipping NSPs and stuff, for rifle lessons and stuff like that. That's the little safety thing I put in, because the last thing I want to do is, if they've done no change work, no therapy work in the past, like no counseling, all their stuff might come up because they're relaxed. Same as when people get really drunk and then you get someone who turns into a nasty drunk. It's almost like when they get relaxed, when they're pissed, all of their unconscious stuff can come up. So when I'm doing hypnotherapy, the first thing I do is I put those in place. So I've done it with Vietnam veterans who've been involved in the Phoenix program. So, it does work. So I just got them to experience just a little bit of gentle relaxation, and some of them really enjoyed it. Some of them said it's not for them, but meditation is just like, for me, I have to do it so I usually wake up every morning about 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm wired. I go downstairs, I put my meditation music on, I might put YouTube on and find like a meditation that works for me. I prefer a female voice to a male voice, and then off I go. And I literally empty my mind, and then I'm ready to go then for 6 o'clock for work. So, but I say to anyone out there, meditation, not medication. That's the way I've always sort of rolled.
Yes. And
questions, not suggestions. When I do like HMS therapy, we were saying yesterday that, they said, oh, can you put embedded suggestions in onto people? I think it's like 70% of society. We've just seen it with what we've just gone through for the last 2 years. That's been mass hypnosis. And if you're trained in hypnosis, you can see the mass hypnosis they've just done, the system's just done for the last 2 years with all the subliminal programming and all that stuff. But only 70% of the population have gone along with it. And when they wake up from it, they're going to go, oh my God, how did I believe in it? Because you've taken all these embedded suggestions.
Oh, can I tell you about the conversation I had the other day? It was with actually after a podcast, right? Very, very nice person. But after we finished, he just sort of looked at me and said, Chris, like, Martin, I wish I could have like almost recorded it. He just said, Chris, why do I live in a matrix but you don't? It was something like that. He'd been watching my podcasts and that was it. He said, Chris, it's like when you talk to people, it's like I can tell they know what you're talking about, but I don't. And I was like, yes. I said, because we don't use the language of being in the matrix, to use a metaphor, a euphemism.
Mm.
He's like, right, so it's all about this stuff, isn't it? I said, yeah, part of it is. And he's like, it's not real, is it? And I'm like, well, you're, and the point we got to is he's emerging from it, and it's fascinating to see
To watch it, yeah, like a little bloom of a
just
spring, like a flower, yeah.
being receptive and going, life's not what I thought it. And I'm like, no, everything is a lie. Or everything. Yeah, well, yeah, basically everything. Your health, your diet, your medication, your education, your work, your 9 to 5 work routine, your news, your mainstream media, your music, your Hollywood. It's all
Well, it's hypnosis, isn't it? It's all been, everyone's been hypnotized for the last 2 years. And, there's been levels where I've bought into it because it's been so intense that I've gone, oh my God, I've actually got caught in the matrix for like several months. And I was like, I forgot everything I learned and everything that I'd spent deprogramming myself from that. But it's hard work. I work on myself every week.
You need to, mate. You need to.
All the time.
No, you really need.
No, you need to.
No, you need to.
No, listen, I work on myself all the time. And, I was finding myself on the building site, losing my shit, like in a sense, and getting so angry with some of my situations that I was in and being frustrated and going like everything was being taken away from me again. And I was like, and then I worked on that and I realized that I was trapping myself in those positions. And I'd go back into work and I'd go, do you know what? I'm going to dig a hole today. I'm going to dig it like it's the best job in the world. And it is, because I'm in earth and I'm in with the worms and I'm connecting with nature and I'm digging this hole and I'm making someone's garden better. And it's come out and this old man who's like 80 odd, he's just sat there. He goes, oh, thank you so much. You've done such a great job on my garden. And it's that sense of pride. It's like, whatever you're doing in life, do it well and do it. It's when you believe you're trapped and you're not, you can walk away at any minute. You can walk away from what you're doing and stop it. And when I was working with those people yesterday and I was suddenly doing hypnotherapy and everyone was coming out and going, oh my God, I feel so relaxed. I feel so chilled. But after they'd done all their change work in the morning, I wouldn't even gone near the hypnotherapy in the afternoon. And we just did some stacking of anchors, which is stacking positive anchors. One of it was for a lady that when she's answering calls to people who are suicidal and not in a good place, that she could stay calm in her own peace and not take on all their stuff. Because energy is never destroyed, never created. It's only ever transferred from one thing to another. We are all energy. You talk about this all the time. So if energy is never destroyed, never created, it's only ever transferred. When this lady was letting go of her stuff in the morning when I was doing therapy with her, the guy next to her was literally welling up because her emotions were going off. And he goes, why am I welling up? Why am I crying? I said, because she's letting go of those emotions. And if you're an empath, if you're an empathic person, you're going to be soaking up that shit. So if you're around negative people, when you suddenly start to act negative, you're swearing all the time, your language changes because you're soaking up. You're like a digestive biscuit being dunked into a tea. You're literally soaking up. And because I'm an empath, whoever I'm around, so when I go to war, and I'm not making any excuses for my behavior in war, but those behaviors are literally, I'm just soaking up all the death and destruction and becoming the personification of evil because that's what's going on around me. And I'm just vocalizing it.
Yes. Did
I go a bit deep then, did I?
No, mate. It's absolutely spot on. It's just interesting that the reason I became self-employed and just started to follow my own dreams, is I just found being in a workplace not 100% toxic, but I mean, one place I work, oh God, oh Jesus Christ! When people talk about hell, that would be my definition of it, right? Completely losing the spiritual battle in there every day, right? Another place I worked, it's a weird thing. It's like I've actually been fired from most jobs. I'm just
Same
not,
here.
I'm just not that person, Martin. I'm
No.
not trying to sound better than anyone. No, not at all. It's just I'm that square peg, and I don't fit. I'm never going to fit in that round hole ever.
No, you've got to do your own thing.
Well,
You've
yeah.
got to do your own thing. And what came to me yesterday, right? Because I was for 10 years or 11, 12 years as a therapist, running my own business until the you know what happened, the glitch in the matrix, the glitch in the matrix, right? So, and then I end up digging holes, and I'm going, what? Hang on a minute, what's happening here? Like, and then I was around people that at first I was judging them with my perception of being a therapist and being like this successful businessman running my own business, and then all of a sudden I'm washing the trowels and doing all this shit jobs, and I'm like, how does this end? But then the people I was with, I was really angry towards. So it was almost like blaming them for my situation, and then I started to look at myself, kept working on myself, and then I'm now working with these people, and honestly, I found such a group of such nice people from the top down. I get on with everyone from the management down to everyone on the youngsters on the building site. I realized that this is the most wonderful people you can work with. I've had such a laugh over the year, and I've had no responsibilities, and I've just really enjoyed it, Chris. Honestly, and like, it was yesterday. It all came to me that of all these people, I've had so much. It's the laughs, the deep belly laughs that you get in the military, but I've had it on a building site, and I almost want to write it as a film script, like about a comedy on a building site about builders and a bit like the In-Betweeners, but on a building site. But
Yes, you mentioned that. I'd love to see
oh
it.
mate, because I started writing it and I was just giggling to myself like a little kid. It's so on PC. It's like, this shit is never going to get on TV, but if I have to make it myself, I will do, and we'll stick it on YouTube. But as I started to write it, and I just thought, that's the thing, every experience in life is something you can take from, and the lockdown is just going to awaken people, and it's, you're going through a bit of a tough time, and it's going to be hard, and unfortunately a lot of youngsters are taking their own lives, which is awful, but those souls have got to be remembered of what was wrong about what went on out there, and how do we never let this happen again. It's like the Iraq War. The great thing about what happened with the Iraq War is never again will politicians be able to go into that and sell us a war like they've done before. Because look at what happened with Tony Blair the other week, when they gave the best thing that the Queen could have done is give that guy a knighthood. The best thing, because it just showed.
I could think of something else you could have given him.
Yeah, a turd in a shoebox would have been.
Hey, do you want to know my Queenie turd dit anecdote?
No.
You think I'm joking, don't you? No, I have got one.
Did you?
Yeah, so as people may well know, so I was on Invincible, that's birthed in Pompey, Portsmouth. I think the Royal Yacht was also there.
Is this to do with turds?
Yeah. And because obviously, the dits fly around the Navy.
Yeah.
The dit that came to me was the stewards on board the Royal Yacht had a floater in a bottle, in a jar. I'm not going to say who the floater belonged to. I'll leave it up to people's imagination.
Oh, wow.
on the Royal.
There was so much air in it.
On the Royal Yacht. Well, it let's just say it didn't go down, and yes.
Yeah, I would have kept that.
Yes.
Do
you think our non-military friends are out there going, what?
I don't care.
These guys are sick.
I was
Yes.
I was on a Bravo MFC course at Warminster with a guy called Dinger from Tourlight. Everyone who's out there is Tourlight, or no Dinger, Dingwall, and he was ripping me because I got kicked off the course because I failed one of the tests, so I got RTU'd. So as a little treat, remember those the white boxes? We called them Haver boxes. You probably call them something different in the
Do you
Marines.
mean like rat packs?
Rat packs, you call them. We call them Haver boxes. I don't know why.
No, not rat.
They were called rat box. Yeah. I remember the Marines calling them.
If they would, if you got a pack, you mean packed lunch boxes, right?
Yeah, they're white boxes.
Yeah,
they were
yeah. And if you go on the on anything to do with the RAF, it's like full of luxury stuff, like it's from Harrods or something. But if you get
like
it from
Perrier, a little bottle of Perrier. in it.
yeah, but if you get it from the Navy or the Army, it's got like a
Yeah.
Ginster's pasty in there. And
No, it wasn't the Ginsters. You weren't that lucky. It was. I mean, that Ginsters are bad, but they had it was called Wright. It was a Wright's D shape, and you can Google it. It was called a Wright's pasty. It was called a D. It wasn't even called a pasty. It was called a D shape.
Come on, someone out there, put it in the chat.
Wright's pasties, D shapes.
Yeah. What was the box? I will think of it.
Anyway, so Dinger was like taking a piss at me because I had to return to unit. We had Marines on this course as well, and you'll love this story here because the Marine. I'm sort of diverting it, but the Marines had this thing of taking like people's cap badges and doing things to them, right?
Okay, yeah.
So there was 3 Marines in my. I think one of them's ended up in Poole, but these 3 Marines were right cheeky little monkeys, right? And they were always doing stuff to people's cap badges. And me and this Kingo were going to lunch. This King's regiment, right? And they'd taken his cap badge out and put it upside down. And he's walking on, went, "Hey, look, your cap badge is upside down." And this other lad went, "Oh, they better not do that to me." And what they'd done, I don't know what they were called, the QLRs, but they used to have like, I don't want to insult the regiment, but they used to have like the only way you could describe it was like a diamond, was like a piece of cheese, like, you know, the old cheese slice. They used to have a cheese slice behind their cap badge. And what they'd done is they cut out some Scotch Brite. Do you remember Scotch Brite to clean your weapon with, that purple stuff? It was like Brillo pad. Do you remember?
Certainly do.
And
Yeah,
they called
yeah.
it Scotch Brite. So they cut out a diamond of that and they put that behind his cap badge. Oh my God. And I was crying. Anyway, look, they were behind us, like, and they were cheeky little monkeys, always doing little tricks like that on people.
Yes.
This dingwall was laughing, right? So I was taking a piss out of me because I was getting returned to unit because I screwed up on my command appointment for my mortar course, and I was getting RTU'd. So I did a little treat for him, and I left one of those Haver boxes. I think mobile phones were out then. I think they'd just come out. I just got this fucking hell, Webby, like, you fucking done a shit in an Haver box and left it in my locker and didn't find it till 2 weeks later. I left it in his locker. He didn't find it for 2 weeks. It was sat there sweating away. The room was stinking. So that was a little dingwall. That one was on me.
That reminds me of a story, but I could
Just
never
too
tell
bad.
it. I could never tell anybody that story. It would, yes, it would. It might cause it would cause an international incident.
Yeah, I think I better stop there.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still trying to find the name of this bloody Marines pack lunch.
I'm sure what you said earlier was right.
No, a rat pack is ration pack, right? Short for ration
Right, okay,
pack.
yeah, sorry,
No,
yeah.
This is bag rat.
Bag rats, that's what they call it.
Bag rat.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
God.
And you call them saft jars for we call them Norgies.
Yeah.
You think being all connected to Norway, you would have called them Norgies as well, but you called them saft jars.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Mate, I'm having to Google a lot of this
Having some wets in the
terminology,
galley. Have some wets in the galley.
'cause, yeah, we talking those big.
And they would check this out, right? The Marines, right? When we was on our mortar course, right? We would come in stinking, right? All the pongos, we would all come in stinking, cam clean all over us, go straight to the cookhouse. They would literally miss out on their dinner because they would run back, get washed, they would come in literally with different combats on, sparkling. They wouldn't sit down in the canteen.
Mate, if you did that in the range, you get the fuck kicked out of you.
If you
The same as if you shave with your shirt on, and whenever I see anyone shaving with their shirt on now, it makes me just cringe.
It's amazing how you get that shit programmed into you, like.
Well, it's not. To be honest, it is programming to a degree. I mean, it's a learned behavior.
But you wouldn't do that surely if you was in Iraq or on operations in Northern Ireland? Would you literally run back and get showered before you go into?
No.
Northern
It's
Ireland?
not when you're operational.
You're operational, right?
It's like if you're in the field, you got to do whatever you've got to do, and you've seen the pictures from the Falklands. The guys hadn't shaved for weeks, and you
I
know,
know.
etc.
I was going to say, you turn up and and Stanley march in all shaven and with
Oh,
with a little iron kit in. Like,
I had stories from the Falklands, you know, because their dysentery was rife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're drinking out of puddles and stuff, and people walking along, and they were having to take a you know what in their hand because they didn't want to stop yomping.
No.
You know, if you stop for a you know what, you're gonna get left behind. So they just, I've heard that.
I've said it before.
Other people just ripped their underpants out and went. They're just giving them, you know, there's not hardly anything left of them, and they're giving them blisters or whatever. But the thing you just reminded me about was when I think we were doing our build up for Northern Ireland, and we had an army guy from some regiment come to brief us on probably, I don't want to say the word, but things that go bang, that kind of stuff, right? And in the lectures, he said, "Hello, fellas." He said, "Look, before I start, I've got to ask you, what's this thing about like taking your combat jacket off before you eat?" Right? And Clive puts his hand up and goes, "Yeah, and we also what was it he said?
Go on.
We also have a shower every day as well."
Right.
Or something like, you know. And that was another thing, you know, you if you sit down, you look like you're eating. You don't sit down with your jacket on. And
I found something today that you would like, if I can find it quickly. It was to do with Ireland. I don't know if I can. I found some of my old pictures.
Rick, hang on. Rick's saying in the chat, it's a safari jar, mate. That makes sense.
A safari jar.
Yeah, because they, you know,
found all my old billies. What do you call photographs then in the Marines?
Fots.
What? Fots. Get your fots out.
I don't say it now though because it just sounds a bit silly.
Get your fots out. We called them billies. I'm not going to find it. I'll try and find it for the next one we do. But it was I just that. The old Dead Sea. Can you see that?
Yes.
The little.
Is that you?
Yeah. With me Falmouth packet in the Dead Sea. Remember the old floating in the old soldier for home.
I've been to the Dead Sea twice.
Have you?
Yeah. It's pretty minging in there.
Oh,
it's like
isn't it?
It's like a.
I couldn't wait to get out.
A warm minging swimming baths, isn't it? They've got shower. They've got shower. I think they've got showers there now. Yeah.
So just to recap on the old on the film stuff at the moment, we're just Jordan. Obviously, our editor's gone to work for Netflix, so we've got someone in. We've got someone in there, an inside man, and hopefully they might go, "Oh, let's have a look at your film, Jordan." And they've got any film scripts there. So we've got Exile, we've got Grail. We're working now with a guy called Dave Reynolds, who's a producer. He's just done an amazing film. I'm going to give a shout out to these. He done a film. If you get a chance to watch it, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Louisa, and he was the producer. Now this is about the Lynmouth lifeboat. You would absolutely love this. You've got to watch this. It's amazing, right? The Lynmouth lifeboat. I watched it. Do you know what? It was lovely because it came through at Christmas, and it's like a Christmas film. It's an animation, and I've never been into animations like that. But this is one of the best animations. It's up there with The Snowman and When the Wind Blows. You know, like the Raymond Briggs.
Yeah.
I love all that.
I'm trying not to laugh because is it Ricky Gervais in Extras where his manager always goes, "When the wind blows," and he's like, "It's when the whistle blows." He keeps getting his soap opera wrong, his comedy wrong. I tell you what I was going to say. Sorry to I'm not trying to black cat or anything, but if you ever get a chance to watch that documentary on the Penlee lifeboat going down. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my. It's
I will.
quite an emotional ride, that one. When the radio just suddenly, it just goes silent.
Does it?
And obviously they don't know.
Got goosebumps then.
They don't know at that point that this bloody great ship has just come down and come down on top of the lifeboat. And
this here, though, not to spoil it, but flipping out that I didn't know this story existed, and I'm glad this film's been made because the heroism of how they got this boat to the next village and they dragged it through snow in the 1800s and to go and help with a crew, and then apparently they should do a second to it because there's another story where once they got the boat to the other side, this boat, they had to get it to the next village, and the trials and tribulations that they then had to go out to sea, row out, crew the ship. Because I was thinking, were they going out to rescue the crew? No, they were just going over to relieve the crew that were on the boat to keep them alive until the storm died down, and then they rowed back.
Yes, these men are immensely brave. Obviously, men and women these days, but back then it was pretty much chaps.
You got to watch. Honestly, you won't be disappointed. I watched it twice in the morning, and I cried twice when I watched it because it was just so powerful. Like, and I'm really pleased to be working with Dave Reynolds from that. And
right, I need to hit you up with something, right? The old Netflix productions.
Yeah.
The sound on them, the backing sound is always way too loud. It's always louder than the vocals.
When you watch something on Netflix, you mean?
Yeah, it's one thing that you learn when you do videos is whatever. If you first of all put a pair of headphones on when you mix. Secondly, you turn your volume on 50%, so you're getting what the audience is going to hear.
Yeah.
Then you can get the backing track down to a level where it's not booming over the person trying to speak.
Right.
But on Netflix, either there's some software-y type or a codec kind of glitch thing going on, or they're just really bad at mixing. Because so many productions on there, the music's just too loud, way too loud.
We just got through Narcos and we really enjoyed that. I've never with Pablo Escobar. Have you watched that one, Narcos?
No.
It's all about the Pablo Escobar thing, how they caught him.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was.
Yeah.
Do you know what? What a fascinating character he was. You know, and multifaceted. But now Pablo's been taken out. It's sort of like lost its sort of, you know. And then I'm watching a bit of Boba Fett at the moment. Have you been watching that? Do you like Star Wars? Book of Boba Fett?
Mate, I never I'm going to be honest, right? Because I never, ever lie. Ever. Never.
Yeah.
Never, ever. I have never been able to get into... I've watched science fiction. I'll watch the first Star Wars as good as the next...
This is not your thing now.
Person. Well, I've always loved real life. There's so many fascinating documentaries.
Oh, totally, yeah. Totally.
Or even a film that's not made up, like it's a film in the nature, or it's a film about survival, or it's a film about drama or whatever. It's the fact that life isn't that shit and boring that you I totally agree. You have to freaking make sky monsters and
I've never been into making sci-fi myself. It's always got to be realistic because I've got so many stories I need to tell. Hence this one here that I'm working on at the moment, which is called We'll Meet Again, which is about
You're determined to plug that, aren't you? Your artwork.
No, it's not. It's just that's how it starts, though, is when I do a little drawing like that. It's amazing how I can show you a list of drawings and they're now scenes in my film, like the one with the tank and the RPG. I can't believe I drew that. And the next thing that you see it, that's the remarkable thing about making films. You draw and then all of a sudden you just see the actors come in and it all happens. And it's just amazing, Chris. That's what I'll try and get you on a film. Well, you will be. We'll get you involved in, but it's such good fun. Like when we made the Grail trailer, and we got that boat, and I bought a boat for £50, and I was on the beach thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, is this going to work? You know, we're going to drag this boat like 20, I think it's like 20 odd miles around to another coast, and it was full of water. And my dad glued the back on, and we put expanding foam in all the joints because it was it's probably about 100-year-old boat. You know, I'm not a boat builder. And we got it around there, and then the mist came in, and we got that amazing trailer with the You know, we had no life jackets. Chucked a load of actors in with the costumes on, and there you are. We're suddenly transported back to 2,000 years ago, and Jesus coming in on a boat.
Hey, there you go.
And then Napoleon coming on the other beach.
What's been your film influences then?
Oh, mate, I just love all the
Can I just tell you another little interesting writer thing is some people have read Eat and Smoke, particularly Eat and Smoke. They just comment on the amount of film references I make, and it's just because I've always loved film. So in my writing, I'll talk about Rambo: First Blood. I'll talk about Highlander.
I love Highlander. I love Highlander.
All the sort of classics. So, but what have been your influences?
I love Goodfellas. I love the film Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese. I love the British films. So I like oh my god, I can't believe I've even forgotten it. So I love Scum. I religiously watch Scum every couple of months, right? Or just scenes from it. Have you watched Scum, haven't you?
Yeah, it's Ray Winston, isn't it?
Ray Winston and
I love Ray Winston because he was in, was it Nil by Mouth?
Yeah,
I think it's called, which is just,
yeah.
I like the other chap in it, the guy.
And Mark Ryan's in that. Big shout out to Mark Ryan.
Hello, Mark. Mark was going to have a word with Ray and try and get him on the podcast. I'd love to chat to him because
that would be good. Yeah,
I like the other guy that plays the son, the young guy he's addicted to heroin. He's got a double barrel name, but he's a really class. He really plays like the London underdog really well. There's in fact there's a film on Netflix at the moment with him in.
Paddy Constantine, I like that from Dead Man's Shoes. I'd love to work with him. Have you heard of Paddy Constantine?
Yeah.
Dead Man's Shoes is one of my favourite. I love Shane Meadows' work. You know, with he's a realistic director. I love all the British directors like Shane Meadows.
Well, they've done really well, haven't they?
David Lean is the master, though. You know, with what he did with Lawrence Arabia and Dr. Zhivago and Bridge over River Kwai. You know, I watch those films of my sort of every single shot, and like if you watch Bridge over River Kwai, every single shot is like a painting. You know, they're like Kubrick, like Stanley Kubrick. If I watch Stanley Kubrick stuff, it's every shot is a piece of art.
Yes. Sorry, mate. I've just got up on the screen just before we go past it. Nil by Mouth, and it's Charlie Creed Miles who I like. But
Charlie Creed.
Kathy Burke in that. I think she was.
She's good.
She was up for an Oscar.
Yeah.
They definitely walked the red carpet for this.
That
one.
Mo, Gary Oldman's sister's in it. Mo, the one she was called Mo on EastEnders. She was. That was her first acting role.
They were all just
Mark Ryan was his scene was so bad they took it out.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy I got a lot of time for with Bronson. I love that film by is it Nicholas Refn or something like that. He'd done Bronson. I love that film.
Yeah. The reason I like Nil by Mouth is it really is one of the few films that actually outlines the damage that can be done to a child, i.e. a boy, when the relationship with when the father is just into his own ego and is into his own problems and the sort of stuff, and how that massively. There's one scene in it where he's talking about his dad and he's like, he shot my dog, he shot my fucking dog, you know, and it's just that sort of shit happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, that would happen. You'd have this dog and suddenly, I mean, not my old man, unfortunately, but you know, that one abnormal that if your parent decide, oh, we don't want a dog this week, your dog's gone and they don't, you didn't get consulted with that shit. You know?
It was a harder generation, wasn't it? You know, like Kes. If you watch Kes and Alan Clark is probably one of my favorite directors, British film directors. But Alan Clark did Scum. He did The Firm. You like The Firm with Gary Oldman?
Have I seen The Firm?
Oh my God, Gary Oldman's amazing in that. Absolutely amazing.
He is pretty good in everything he
He's
does.
so
isn't he?
intense. It's just his like his ferociousness. Like, I mean, I tried to pinch some of that sort of technique when I did my acting, and and the thing is with acting, just be yourself. Don't cast people to try and make them be something they're not. Cast people to play the parts. Like if I cast you in Exile, I just want you to be yourself. I don't want you to become anything else but yourself. You got to play that role of a dying man. Then you just go there, and what's the psychological impact? And let's really investigate. What's it going to be like to die over 4 weeks? Not.
Mate, I will play it low key. Oh, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? I can't remember the next line.
Right, Luke's taking your part.
Have I failed the audition then?
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, man. But films that I love is just love British. I love British classics. I record. I'm always recording. I was watching Reach for the Skies the other day, a black and white film. Never seen that before. Have you seen that? About the guy, World War II guy, got his legs blown off. Sorry, he had an accident.
Oh, Douglas Bader.
He gets his 2 tin legs, but it's a black and I was watching. I was just crying with laughter at some of that old, like that old RAF sort of style.
I never realised. I thought that he'd got them shot off in a dogfight, and he'd well, we all know he went back flying.
It was just training accident.
Yeah, but no, he creamed in peacetime, didn't he? And I think he was showing off.
He does, but then that you could see how that energy is what.
Hey, look, we got a blooming thespian in the chat. Outsider has come up with it. Look, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a capitalist. It actually says something like Capulet, but I thought capitalist sounds more appropriate.
Do you know, I've never been into Shakespeare. I love Charles Dickens. I love all the Dickens stuff like Oliver Twist and and Great Expectations, because I love David Lean's version of Great Expectations. I love all those classics.
Luke's come up with the probably the most classic film of all time that we neglected to mention.
Which is what?
Muppets Take Manhattan.
No, Muppets Christmas Carol. I love that. I love Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Muppets. Jim Henson was deep, man. If you watch a lot of Jim Henson's, like Dark Crystal and stuff like that, Jim Henson was deep.
Well, this is the thing. It's all art is all so interconnected, isn't it?
Of course, it is.
When you watch the Muppets as an artist, you're going to see just beauty and skill.
But have you seen the Dark Crystal? Have you ever watched that? Go and watch the Dark Crystal.
You're making me feel like my repertoire is non-existent now.
No, but the Dark Crystal
Can we just
was
talk
like
about Rambo First Blood?
Oh, mate, I love Rambo. Every Christmas that's on, isn't it? Just leading up to November, you get Rambo comes on, and it's usually on for about like every other week of him.
Yes, but First Blood, the actual first one, is very rarely shown, and
It's not every November that comes on. I've got it on record now to watch because I didn't watch it this November.
Hey, it's my podcast. I fucking say what it's that is rarely on. All right.
Let's fact check that, Luke, please.
Hang on, I get it up on the screen. Joe Rogan, Jamie? Can you get that up on the screen? Oh, that'll get us kicked off YouTube.
Yeah, but what's your favourite scene from First Blood?
Oh, right. There's one scene. And it's where he's walking back to the cave that he's found, where he has his fire and he cooks the wild boar that he spears.
Yeah.
And I think he's got like the leg of the wild boar over his shoulder. And as he walks to the cave, if you time it right, you can say, "Oi, Rambo, dickhead," and he goes. Like, and he keeps walking, and that's
We had a lad called Benny Boke, and he used to recite all of the Rambo stuff when we was in Iraq. And he came over we went, "Go on, send it in clear." And he went, Baker team to identify bird dog, Jefferson, Ortega, Krakauer, Rambo, come in, John.
You got it, man.
Niggas, they're all gone, sir.
My favourite scene
Not
was
not Jefferson and Danforth. They got out. Cancer man, ate him down to the bone.
Yeah.
Couldn't lift him off the sheets. All that Agent Orange.
Picked it up in Nam, didn't even know it. Yeah. And it doesn't talk like that, does it? Picked her up in Nam, didn't even know it.
But Benny would get a mic and go, up here, above the snow line, fugitive John Rainbow is still at large, waiting. Mate, I watched some films.
God didn't create Rambo. I did. No, my favourite scene used to be, my favourite scene was always a bit where he dived into the tree.
Yeah.
But then I found out that tree that tree was a stunt double.
Didn't he break a rib though doing that? He did something.
It's that thing. Yeah, he probably did. But it's that thing where he beats up all the cops, and you're just willing him to do it, aren't you?
Yeah.
All the injustices in the world.
Yeah, but I've came across people like that. I mean, I don't know if it was a law of attraction when I came out of the army. I came across people. I remember one day I knocked on someone's door, and I was handing out leaflets to save, like my dad's. Like there was like a development going to go through with, and I was handing out leaflets where they were going to rebuild this whole. They were going to knock something down. This old building, which was a World War II building, where they brought all the D-Day dead. So I was passionate about saving this building. So I went to this person's house and knocked, and he went, and he goes, I used to be the mayor of Falmouth, and I go, you're that boy, aren't you, that recorded that film? He goes, your mum and dad must be so ashamed of you. And I just looked at him and I just thought. I remember at the time because I was in such a bad place. I just sort of felt like crying, and I looked at him and I went, "There is some real horrible people out there, but then there's a lot of good people." But I need to go back there and just go that, snap his neck, leave him on the door. No, that's not. I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That was. What did you say,
mate? I do a breakdown of the Vietnam movies and. Because it's actually fascinating when you understand why they started to appear in contemporary film and music. It's all a very carefully constructed narrative to get us to where we are now, where even though you can send a whole country's military to an illegal conflict, the people in the country are so hypnotized they still support this conflict because they think the guys are, the guys and girls are heroes, and that's why you started to see the PTSD narrative, the Platoon, the Rambo. It's like, hey, you gotta feel sorry for these guys. They're homecoming heroes. Da 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 da. It's why you got songs like, do you remember? No, 19. The average age of a combat soldier was 19.
Paul Hardcastle.
And then you had a big Marine named Camouflage. That song. It's a very carefully constructed narrative to get us to where
status quo.
I like status quo.
You're in the army now.
Yeah. Yeah, but theirs was.
I forget I'm live actually. I'm not singing as bad as I sing on the building site.
That was a weird track for status quo, don't you think? It was a bit
too odd. It was a little bit sort of 80s German sort of the keyboard synths, a bit like 99 Red Balloons, and it's that type of that synth poppy rock shit that sneaked through. When you've got like Adam and the Ants, and you've got like, Level 42, and you've got like some real great bands like the Clash, and so there's all these great bands, and you got some real crap that came through the 80s as well, like that.
Yes. It's Quo in a day. They were awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they ever weren't not awesome, but I love Status Quo, and one of their songs. One of my favorite tracks is it "Living on an Island"? Waiting for my friends to come.
Do you know I was in a band in the army? I was in a band, and we've just done. I've got to mention this. There's a film called Falkland Square. It's coming out, right? And it's again by it's been produced by Dave Reynolds, and it's starring some great actors. But they've asked for some of my songs to be played, so we're going to have some music on this film. And I wrote these songs years ago with Lee Camara and Lee Carroll, and you know Steve Mitchell, who does the song for the Ley Lines. You know the Ley Lines song, "In Your Shadow" at the end of the film of Penitent.
Okay.
So we was all in a band together in the army. When we was in Cyprus, we made a band called The Job, and we went around all the army camps. So put that on your thing. Who remembers the band The Job in 1997 and 1998? And we played in RAF Akatiri, we played in the Forced In, we played all around. We played in Limassol. So if anyone saw a rock band called The Job, named after a poo, I think we were just like a shit version of The Jam. And then Stevie went on, and he's now in the band the Ley Lines and doing really well, mega famous on that. But he originally started off in our band called The Job, and we were crap. And so a lot of the music that we did for Diary of a Disgraced Soldier and this new film now called Falkland Square, which is about the Falklands War, is going to be in that. And this stuff is good because Lee Camara is singing on it, and he's playing his piano, and I wrote the words.
Sorry, but on the subject of Vietnam, Frank's bringing up Springsteen. Of course,
I don't like him.
Yeah, but he slipped one by the whole nation, didn't he? With Born in the USA.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And an anti-Vietnam or an anti-USA.
But he's all in bed with flipping Barack Obama now, isn't he?
Mate, they all do what they can do, don't they? And it's all.
There's a picture. I saw a picture. I just thought, oh mate,
Yeah.
And then he won't let anyone in on his thing unless they've had the thing. He won't let anyone in on his gigs. that was funny about Adele when it saying, "No, you're not coming." Then it's all backfired, and then now she can't do her stupid gigs. Karma's a bitch, man.
Yeah, but could you imagine all these people that have gone along with it for their own selfish career gains, right? And now it's backfiring. How they must be feeling that they've been on the wrong side of history, and they were avidly supporting this narrative. I mean,
Anyway, it's not good on that one.
Yes. So
sorry,
anyway,
I should have brought it up.
Mate, you've been asked. No, that we've had a request. Rick is asking you to sing.
I can't sing, mate. I used to write the songs and play the drums. I was a drummer. And no drum. What do you call a man that hangs around with musicians? A drummer.
You can't sing. You can't play. You look awful.
I was like the drummer off of Commitments. Who used to be? Was it? What was he called again? The one that had. Have you seen the Commitments?
Of course.
Oh, what a film that is.
That was all right, let's talk. What about Highlander? How many times have
I've
you
got
watched
a message come through. See you on Christopher again from Jim Samways.
Hello, Jim.
Ex-Para.
Shout out to Jim.
Do you know what? He's a top lad, and me and him have stayed in touch for over 10 years now, and he loves his films. We sit and quote lines from Scum all the time to each other, and I want to get him involved in the filmmaking stuff because he's a top lad.
I love it. I can't believe I'm just over the moon on making my debut, mate, because it's...
It won't feel like it when you make a film with me because we only had like one cameraman. I'm usually doing the boom for the sun.
Mate, don't just big it up for the video.
There's not going to be 100.
Make something up.
You're not going to have your own look. You're not going to have your own trailer and like
mate, I'll bring it with me
and all that on it.
I'll bring a trailer with me. It won't be like one of those.
Ask Julian when
it will actually be a trailer.
Julian and Des Edwards. So Julian and Des turned up. He'd been on Game of Thrones, and Julian had just come off the set of King Arthur with Guy Ritchie. He turns up on my film set in a caravan. There's no electric. He's got a candle, right? And they got to share two little beds next to each other. It was proper cozy, like. And then the power went off, so they had no power. And I said, "Sorry, lads, we've got no food till tomorrow." And then my brother turns up, and I said, "Mate, can you get a barbecue?" I said, "I'll give you the money later," but I hadn't any money. So he paid for the barbecue. I said, "But you're going to get a credit in the film as the catering." so I'll try and find the picture, but we're all sat outside this caravan, all on those like plastic chairs. What they call those really shit. I'll send it to you. And it's just
Jane's just come up with something in the chat. And I tell you what, I don't think there's ever a film that had so many extras. Well, certainly not that I know, and it's Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution. It starred Al Pacino, and they filmed part of it in Devon.
Right.
Shout went out for extras, and I tell you what, people saying I was an extra in Revolution has just been a constant theme through my adult life. They must have, I guess there was, I think it was Napoleonic or something, and they must have had all his armies or some such thing.
So what's Schwarzenegger?
Jane
films?
said it bombed. Schwarzenegger films.
Yeah, Commando. I love Commando.
All
I've got that to
Sinan-
watch.
All Sinan Milamina. My boy loves that one. All Sinan Milamina.
I love Commando.
I can
The way he
say
just-
that all night.
when he gets geared up and he's got all the flipping and he just does all the little and he's got the when he just does the two black stripes and he goes in on that island.
The bit where he punches out the guy that's got the yellow Porsche, and then he climbs down the landing gear of the plane and jumps into a swamp.
That's so cool. That is so cool. I love the way that he goes like that. He goes. So whenever we used to get on a plane, me and my mate Liam, I used to just go like that, and I used to pretend to punch to elbow him in the face and then go break his neck. And he goes, "Why'd you do that every time on the plane?" That's what Schwarzenegger does.
He actually did that. He did.
Don't
that
wake
stunt.
him. He's dead tired.
He actually did that stunt himself.
Did he?
Mm.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, they had a stunt guy brought in for it, and Schwarzenegger just said, "He's too girly." And then he just climbed out the plane and jumped from, I think it was actually a lot higher than it looks in the film. It was about 3,000 feet. And
Are you a Game of Thrones man?
no,
No, I couldn't get into that either.
I'm going to be honest, because old mate, he's well in with the old cough, the old ginger lad. I'm sure it's not his fault. I'm sure he's been MK Ultra since he was 13 or something. But what's his name? The ginger singer. He's
Ginger Singer. I don't know.
yeah. Once you've done that, and then you're like all over everything, and someone's gonna put it in the chat. But
Ginger Singer.
he had a
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a cameo in Game of Thrones.
You got to shut you down. They're shutting you down now for saying that.
Yeah,
It's stuck. Again.
this is where the video sticks, because we start talking about that. I don't know. It's
What's
just
your
that-
favourite
It's just that thing that, like, I feel I know why he got the cameo in this, and then an album that does this, and an album that does this, and da 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 da. But what are you going to do when they come and get you to sign the old pack?
I don't know. I'm just working on the building sites. That's what I mean. To pay for my films, I'll just have to borrow a big still, like I've always done, and make what I want to make. You know.
But
I mean, look, that's the thing. I'm so proud of that because we've made it out of our own money. You know, same as with Diary. You know, it cost me 10 grand to maybe bankrupt, but I got a DVD to show for it. Look at it. I've got loads to sell. Come on, get your DVD. But again, I've paid for that. That's and when I'm long gone, that's my legacy. I've got some good films out there, that I'm proud of, and there's no one telling me what to do. It's like I want to make what I want to make. I want to make Grail. I want to make.
Can you imagine in 200 years, and like me and you just become mega famous?
Or they actually think that Grail's real, or like and you become like cult.
No,
like
they'll
a
be
cult
like,
following.
these
And they got like,
these guys were geniuses. They were legends before their time, and nobody realised back. They just thought he was a
They're just
second-rate
monks.
podcast
They're just-
host. But this
Sorry,
book,
shit. Hey.
this book,
Oh yeah, Eat and Smoke, man. That was it.
it's classic. The
Yeah, but people have
all-time
that
classic.
They're gonna have that tattoo all over the.
He went to the grave, and he never knew how.
When you see someone with that tattoo on their face because they love you so much, and then Chris Thrall tattoos on their.
What you mean? Are you talking about my girlfriend now?
When they said about their cult.
What's the weirdest the kind of funniest. I don't like to call people fans because I really hate that. It's so like
I
it's
struggle
so
with
condescending, but
I struggle with signing stuff because like when that video came out, that really horrendous video, people coming in with news of the world, mates, great. It was more green jackets than anything. You know what those lot are like? The green jackets are nutters, aren't they? They're like the paras of the light division.
yeah. Yes.
So they were coming in going, oh Webby, we usually Scousers and Cockneys going, all right, sign my news of the world. There's actually signed copies of that out there. Someone's got signed copies of me, and I did it reluctantly because at the time I was like, I wasn't in the best of place, and I was like that. And my signature is not very hard to replicate. It's just the M for mine.
My weirdest moment since I've been doing media type stuff, by that I include my writing, obviously, is when I how was it? It was so some woman randomly approached me about turning Eating Smoke into a video game, right? Okay, and her sons were like, I know. And basically, it was this ex-Marine running around Hong Kong, and every time he wasted like a Hong Kong triad, you got energy or whatever, right? And when he ran low on crystal meth, it's like he started to lose his life, started to fade.
It's got like a little like an energy.
Yeah, and he had to find some more. And
more,
and
more
to
crack,
be honest,
more
right?
Crack rocks.
And here's the thing. I entertained it. I mean, as it was I fed back to her and I asked her a really simple question, such as, so where would it be distributed? It was just something that you'd naturally ask before you sign your whole book away to a video game company. And she wrote me this email back. How dare you? Listen, you're just the writer of the book, okay? We will take care of all. That is our... And I'm like, oh my God, we've got a fucking mental on our hands, right? And and then she starts to threaten me with the Illuminati. She's like, I work with so-and-so, and have you heard of the Illuminati? Do you know who they are? Well, he's very high. He's very
high up in the enlightening ones.
Yeah. So mate, could have had a different. If I'd have just signed that deal, mate, could have. Yeah.
I believe nothing stands in my way of what I want to do in my future. For me, it's like, you've just got to keep finding your own work. Like what was his name? Do it. I did it my way, and that's what I'll do. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I turned up to the Cornish Film Festival recently, and it was a horrid experience where I tried to get my film into the Cornwall Film Festival, and to be honest, we haven't got into one film festival in the UK. We've got into film festivals all around the world. From all the ones we've got into without going over them, but we couldn't get into one in England. And I think because of the wokery agenda that's going on at the moment, wokeism and stuff like that, and our film just doesn't tick those boxes because it's...
Oh, mate, massively. Think of my charity challenges. Like when I ran the length for the UK, which was essentially to raise awareness of veteran suicide.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, people had to like beg the news channel not to just give me any coverage, and they rocked up on the very last day.
Yeah.
And screwed everything up time-wise. I was just hanging around for them when I should have just been. I ran almost 80 miles in that 2 days after that. It was my 36th ultramarathon, and then I'm hanging around while the BBC were having a set to with each other. But no, you're quite right. It doesn't.
Penitence not got in, and it wasn't until I went to the Cornish Film Festival where I realised how bad it was. I literally I tried to submit my film, and I kept getting all these like, no, sorry, we're just not going to play your film because it's an hour 20 or something. And then when I turned up, and then they said, oh, we can offer you a stand at the Cornish Film Festival. So two guys, the younger guys that were running the sort of the mechanics of the festival, logistics, they contacted me, said, would you like to have a little So I turned up, put my poster up, and I had a few DVDs out and stuff like that. But as soon as I walked in, the lady who was running it, I went to shake her hand. She goes, "Oh, we're not shaking hands here." And then I shook the hand of the guy, and then she goes, "No, he's not supposed to be shaking hands." So she wasn't like, "Oh, welcome to the Cornish Film Festival." It was like just attacking me for putting my hand out to shake, to just pleasantries. And then the lad who'd invited me said, "Well, you was hugging people yesterday, and is that duplicity? That bull crap?" And then they put me in the corner, and I'm sat there all day with a load of people that were just basically there to sell stuff. And I was there just to introduce my film. Went to several of the meetings. They talked about how you get funding for a film, and it's so complex. And this person said that he had to rewrite his script 150 times until the BFI turned around and went, "Yeah, that's now what we want." So why don't they just write it for them? If I had to write the script 150 times, all the time that would take to do that? I can't be bothered. I'm not, and it's a shame because I could get probably funding from the BFI if I was willing to bend over and do that to make my next film. And I've got all those actors I'd love to pay to do the next film with, but I just can't. I can't sell my soul. I can't.
Yeah, but
can't do that shit. And again,
it's all shaping the narrative. All these little funds, and they want you. It's division, isn't it? If you make like a Black Lives Matter film, you'll be a millionaire, mate.
Well, I heard this white middle class bloke, right, who was part of the festival, talking about how he wants to do a film about BLM and what it's like. And I thought that just goes to show how out of touch you are. What the hell do you know about what it's like to be a black man growing up in England? I just thought, you stupid, yeah. And then he asked me what I thought, and I went, "Yeah, you should go ahead and make that. And I hope you get crucified, you idiot." It's like, write about what you know. It's just crap. And if you could see so many people in the industry, so you got the film school, and it's so cliquey. It's so unbelievably cliquey. It's almost like they keep all the jobs within house. So, and they create all these jobs on a film set that you don't even need. You don't even need that amount of people. So I went to one of the meetings, and I sat there, and this guy gets up and he starts talking about it. He goes, "I don't tell my students this." He goes, "But basically anyone can go out and make a film." He said, "You can go out and do it." He goes, "I don't tell them that because they'll think, well, why am I at film school?" And he basically just said he lies to all of his students and all that lot. And then I put my hand up and I go, "I've made a film and we've just won all these awards." And he went, and I looked at me, and either he knew me and knew what I'd done, or he just went, "Oh, okay." And then he moved on and took another question. And I just said anyone out there that can do this. I was trying to be positive. I was trying to add to his group. And then I went up to him afterwards and I went, I won the Cornish Film Festival in 2007. I said, "I'd love you to have this copy." I gave him a copy, and he looked at me, took it, and he went, "Oh, right. Oh, okay." And then he just cut the conversation off. He's like, he didn't ask who I was, didn't ask. I said, "Oh, I've made Pendleton." He was like, "Oh, right, okay." And he just basically, he should have just said to me, "Go away." And I just walked away, and I went, "I've just given him one of my DVDs that I've paid for. And there's so many people I'd love to give and I've given it to him. And right now I want to headbutt him to death." And I just went, and then I went up to the lady. I went, "Oh, I'm leaving." I said, "It'd be nice to have got my film played in." She goes, "Well, we did talk about it, but you've been showing it everywhere else." And I said, "No, I approached you first." And she went, "Well, let's not get into the politics of it." And then one of the younger lads said to me, he said, it was brought up about playing your film, but they went, and either it's connected with that and it's not woke enough for them. And I thought, I'm from Falmouth. I'm a Falmouth boy, born and bred, right? I'm a Cornish man who's made a film with no money. I've used Cornish actors. Everything is from Cornwall, right? And it's a Cornish Film Festival, and you can't play my film. And then I went back and I stewed on it. And I spoke to a guy who's in my film, who's American actor. And he said, "I think you should get it off your chest." So I just wrote this email to this guy for you. You talk about inclusivity. You talk about, we're inclusive. We want everyone to feel welcome, but you're not. You're cliquey in your stupid university cliquey bubbles. I was like, I'm never, ever going to come to your festival again unless you lot have all been completely obliterated off the planet, because you're everything that's wrong about the film industry. You're everything that I despise about the film industry. And
did you shove a turd in it?
I really wish I stuck a turd in a box and just went.
The guys on the Royal Yacht, mate, could have sorted you out.
Oh, mate. it's just so clicky. It's so clicky. And
Yeah,
people send me emails all the time and saying, I'd love to get on your film set. And I say, keep in touch. And if they send me like 3 or 4 emails and they're constantly, I'll say, look, I know that person's keen as mustard, and I will try and get him in on the film. Obviously, I've got money to pay people, but I do my best. I would never ever turn anyone away but I just find it all so. They just want to keep their little club, and you have to go to university and you have to do 3 years, and that's just not possible for a lot of people that come from council estates.
It's not just that; it's the whole, university it's a system of indoctrination into a certain system, and the system, there's 3 guesses who controls the whole system. The same people who control everything.
Jordan, who made our penitent, right? He's at university. He's like, I don't know, God knows how much in debt to pay for his university degree. They didn't even teach him. If it wasn't for him editing Penitent for the 2 years, doing his own self-taught stuff, but he didn't have any lectures, nothing. So what's he paying for? And he's pissed right off, and he didn't get the best of grade that he should have done. And he's made a feature film. Again, it just feels like that. But we rise above it, keep making the films, keep doing what I'm doing. I'm never, ever going to surrender, ever. It's just going to be pumping out. And I reckon in 10 years' time, I'll probably have another 3 films under my belt. I will have another 3 films.
What about, see, I've been approached a few times actually by these kind of, it's like the websites, but they're online content companies. So they host a whole range of stuff, and they want a load of, they've offered me a show on there and all this sort of stuff, but I'm a bit.
To be honest, Chris, you got to make it yourself.
Yeah, like, if you pay,
I don't think anyone can
pay me what I'm worth, and I'll consider it. But
no, but I can put you in enough touch with enough people right now who would be keen enough to make your. And the thing is you've got to make it yourself. You've got to direct it yourself. And I know that you're. I'm
not talking about making a production. I'm talking about like someone's offered me. Like I've been quite a few. I've been offered my own radio show. On one of these like I can't even remember what the deal was.
LGBT FM.
No, it was no, it was quite a big, got a lot of airtime is what I'm trying to say. But I've also been offered this show on a internet kind of malarkey thingamajig. But I don't think they really understand who I am. I think they think I'm this, I don't know,
But Alex Belfield's just been asked the same. I don't know if you're familiar with his channel, but I do watch his stuff, and he's been offered to go on GB News and stuff. And you could go on as the war correspondent for GB News. That'd be good. Get you onto the Ukraine.
There is the Union Jack. Gosh, brings a tear to your eye. Yeah, I can picture it now. I counted them out, and I counted them in.
I could never fight against Russia because I love Russians. I love Russia.
Oh, mate, it's all.
I just love that. I love that Russian attitude. Is just.
Yeah.
Anyway,
mate, all people are wonderful. Come on.
Yeah.
There's a few like.
I'm a big fan of Russian slap competitions. Have you seen that when they slap each other? Have you seen
I've got a vague recollection of seeing that sort of thing.
They got like, remember Over the Top when they got like a handle and they've got a, remember and because when I turn my cap around, that's like a switch. Remember that Over the Top?
Yeah, I do.
And they got like a handle on the table. It was like, and he's driving his truck. He used to have like a weightlifting thing, didn't he? Remember?
Yeah,
Over the Top.
Yeah, because his kid's in that one, isn't it?
Yeah,
not his real kid, but
yeah. Anyway, so but it's like that setup. But they've got to slap each other, and you've got to stand there and take it. Slap fighting, it's called. Oh mate, and there's this guy, and he hits this lad, and his eyes like spin around in his head. They're not going to have much, and blood comes out of his ear.
Yes.
I'm into things like that. I shouldn't be, but My mate showed me a video yesterday. This drunk bloke walking across the road, and he's so drunk, he's like that, and his head's like it's like someone's pulling his head, and he's just trying to walk straight, and he just walks into a bike. And there's videos like that. I just can't help it. It just make me. They give me a purpose to live.
People getting hurt in videos. That's
Well, like, you know, when you see people on building sites doing daft stuff, like, you know, the ones with the. Have you seen the one with the exploding chairs, like where they put like a? Oh my god!
yeah.
When I see a human being that's just like
Have you
being
seen some of the? Have you seen some of the Indian building site ones where they're chucking the bricks?
Oh my god!
And they start with like 2 bricks, and then it's 4, and then it's 6, and then the next thing you know, he's picking up like
on the bamboo bamboo
20
scaffolding.
Yeah, and he just manages to throw 20 bricks up in the air, and his mate catches all of them and throws them to the next guy, or he's just throwing one like that, pew, pew, throwing these bricks like he's some sort of.
Oh, you've seen it when they're doing the JCB, and they're literally on they're like the cranes at full extent of the arm. I freak out on a building site when I see what the Taliander does, Michael, the ex-tanky, and he's like that, and I'm like miles away, and he'll be like, I'm just such a bad driver, and I wouldn't trust myself to do anything like that. But you know, when you see
the one where they get a strop and put it around the bucket, and then the guy gets in it, and then they spin the crane around, they spin the digger turret around,
and he's like, oh my god, yeah. Imagine like a health and safety officer coming around the corner seeing that.
Yes,
I love shit like that. I just love blokes being stupid, being kids.
Yes, it just makes me laugh because my son won't, when he sees someone get hurt in, you know, you watch like epic fails on YouTube. He just laughs his ass off. It's so funny.
Talking about going back to films, like look at Buster Keaton, look at Harold Lloyd. Remember watching the Harold Lloyd in the 80s? They sort of brought it back
massively.
on, but he's like climbing up a multi-story block, and he's got like a suit on.
What about the one where the facade of the building falls down?
Yeah, that was Buster Keaton.
Yeah, it stands there.
No, it wasn't. That was
or Charlie Chaplin, one of the two.
Was it Chaplin or Keaton?
And the window just goes over him, and he's just in the.
It's the door frame. He's in the door frame, and if that, it literally. But how did they work out the trajectory of the?
I tell you, they ran the film backwards, so it didn't actually fall down on him. They lifted it up and speeded. See,
but how would you get the dust particles? That's like the moon landings, then, isn't it?
Yeah, no. To be honest, I think they were that mental that they just let it fall on them. But
no, they were mental. Or like the one with the sleepers, and he's got the sleepers on the front of the train.
Yeah. What about the people that go over Niagara Falls in a barrel?
I can imagine a Royal Marine doing that.
Matt, hang on. Manchester Girl has just given us £20 in the chat. That is incredibly kind of you.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you very much.
An absolutely lovely gesture.
Yeah, tenner each.
You'll get £2, mate. I'm going to give you.
No, you keep that too.
You probably owe me £2 though for being your mate, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's very kind. It must be an enjoyment.
No, it is really kind because thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
I'm glad we've entertained people. I'm gonna have to go because my kids are beginning to bed. No, but my kids are getting to bed.
I'm not boring you.
No. So as we end, what's your top 5 films? Top 5 films.
Oh, this would be so unfair because I'd name 5 and then I'd remember another 5 that were actually my betterest
ones. Think of the ones that just.
Okay. I'll tell you ones that I can just watch time and time again. So Highlander, First Blood, The Beach, because I've got a bit of an affiliation with Thailand, having been there quite so many times. Oh my God. Mate, things like Seven Samurai for me, it's just, there's a bit in Seven Samurai, right, where they're trying to recruit the other 6 samurai, and they're in this like Japanese house, and the first guy comes as to apply for the job as, you know, this to go and everyone's seen Magnificent Seven. They protect a village basically from these kick the bad dudes out. So they're interviewing people for the role of, you know, vigilante, and he says, right, the first guy's coming for his interview. Hide behind the door, take this stick, try and hit him over the head, right? First guy comes through the door. The guy goes to whack him, and this guy's like, whoa, ultra ninja samurai dude, right? Next guy comes for the interview. He's like, whoa, just blocks the stick before you even see it moving, right? So on and so on until the last guy, till the seventh samurai, and he comes through the door, and the guy just fucking whacks him full on with his stick, and he's like, oh, what'd you do that for? Just Kurosawa, absolute classic.
I've never watched. I'm saving.
Can
I'm
we
gonna watch
just
that.
sorry,
I'm going to watch that this week.
Greg Shrimpton, what a wonderful gesture as well, mate. Jake, Greg has just Manchester Girl raised it £20, and Greg has just called her. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's very kind. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Greg. Really, really appreciate
Greg.
it, bud. Yeah. So hang on, what was that? That was 3 films or 4.
So you got 5th left.
Oh,
So 7th Samurai. I need to watch that because do you know what? I've watched clips of it.
oh.
So
I'll tell you what, it's all gone Pete Tong.
I never watched that. Was that
Oh
good?
man, I think because of my kind of overcoming certain substances, let's say,
In the 90s.
about 25 million times in my life. It's all gone Pete. For friends at home who haven't seen it, it's about Frankie Wilde, who's an Ibiza DJ.
That's Paul K. Paul K plays him.
Played by Paul K.
I love Paul K. Yeah,
utterly brilliantly.
He's a really good actor as well.
And he's an Ibiza DJ at the top of his career, and he loses his hearing.
Right,
And
that's a true story.
Yeah, and he tries to fix it by having absolute silence in what looks, it ends up looking like a mental pad, because he pads he silences his whole house, and then he lives there basically in shit for a year, and the only thing he eats during that time is cocaine. Right, but it's got such a like an awakened ending to it that anyone that's been there or been through strife in their life will just massively relate to it. And it's hilariously funny. Someone will say something to him, and he'll go, "It was great to almost hear that." It's just brilliant.
Paul was Dennis Pennis as well, because I was massively into but not so much Dennis Pennis, but he did a character called Mike Strutter.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across Mike Strutter?
No, can I just say, when he did Dennis Pennis, his one regret was, I think it was Steve Martin. He said, "So, Steve, how come you're not funny anymore?" Yeah, and apparently Steve Martin was going through like a real bad time in his life. And
do you know what? That came to my head then. It's about planes, trains, and automobiles. I was watching that at Christmas. What a funny film that was.
Oh,
Planes, Trains, with John Candy.
Yeah, let me try and find this, and we're definitely gonna get.
The Jerk was good, wasn't it?
The Jerk was brilliant. All that era was great. Right, I'm gonna play this, and we are definitely gonna get with your warm up. Right, friends at home, I am gonna pause this every 5 seconds or every few seconds. This is probably one that's gonna get us in problem, but. Martin, just bear with us, and I'll tell you what. I'll second-rately explain it to you.
So I can't talk when it's playing, though.
No. You are forbidden from talking. Right, hang on a sec. I'm even going to get us off the screen. Dun, dun, dun. This has got to be one of the funniest clips I think I've ever seen. Right, bear with us.
Now. Yes. Okay now, Ryanki, I'd like you to play role of attacker in this demonstration, as if your intention is to do me genuine physical harm, okay? When you're ready, come at me. Come on, you fucking slag, you fucking want some? Oh, you fucking head, come on, you fucking want some? I'll fucking teach you a fucking lesson. What you fucking looking at? Come on! England! Come on! Fuck off! Right. If you'd all like to split into pairs, please. I don't want to see any Jackie Chan bollocks. I want to see some windmilling in. And if you've got a set of keys on you, stick them in your hand and make them count. That's good. That's good.
Oh my God. That I don't know. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh, I didn't see it. I don't know what you're laughing at.
Oh, I'll send you the link. It's
Steve, I'll watch this back.
It's I don't know the character, but it's Paul K. It's saying Paul Garner here. I don't know if that's anything, but he's this. They're in a dojo. It's got all these Japanese ninja type stereotypical people, and Paul K's given. You can't see him. He just sounds like some kung fu master in the background. He's saying, "Right, fellas, today we're going to learn how to defend ourselves. So, Kato, I want you to come at me." And as this guy steps forward, steps this, like, I don't know what he is, like a chavvy mod. He goes, "Right, come on then, if you think you're hard enough." Bang, bang. And he's like, he can learn. It's yes, just incredibly funny. Anyway,
did you like the old? Do you remember like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor when they would do all the, you know, what are they called? You had Silver Street, and then you had
what the scene? No evil, hear no evil. That.
Yeah, that one, and it was the one when they're dressed as two birds and they get done for the bank job, and it's stir crazy when they end up in the prison. and then that's that guy,
knocking around. I think that's knocking around Netflix. I might
he goes, "We got to get bad." When they walk into the prison, they go, "We got to get bad now," and they go, "Yeah, we're bad."
I get fascinated by the let's just say the substance side in all of that. You know, Richard Pryor was just so. Massively into it at one point, and
if you listen to Gene Wilder talking about it, it said it was really difficult to work with. He said because they were so funny on screen, but yet he said you could wait hours for him to be in the right, obviously to come down off whatever he was coming down. Or like John Belushi as well, you know, he was another one who was. They were just amazing comedic actors that were. Obviously, in a lot of personal turmoil, weren't they? You know.
Yes.
You see Animal House when John Belushi climbs up that ladder, and then they just they break the fourth. Was it the fourth wall? And he just looks back at the camera, and there's some girl getting undressed, and he just goes.
I mean, National Lampoons. I insisted we watch Christmas Vacation this Christmas.
I watched it. I recorded it and I made my daughter watch it, and she was crying with laughter.
And also Monty Python, Life of Brian is just another. You can just watch that so many.
The meaning of life is really good as well. And you Americans, you're like, "Hey man, I just want to tell you something," but you're dead, so shut up.
The best film is called Eating Smoke, and it's not actually been made. There you go.
You're going to try and get me to make this?
Well, I've said this loads of times, but I've been
in 10 years' time. If you haven't got anyone to make it, we'll have to cast someone like Brad Pitt there to play you.
I might think about it because I've had, you know, like William Morris is like the biggest talent agent in LA, isn't it? They emailed me and say, could they have, you know, are the rights available to it? I'm like, yep, you can have it. Of course you can. They didn't get back to me. And
I tell you who is a good, amazing actor. I love watching Tom Hardy's work. I struggled with his last one on when he played Al Capone. I didn't enjoy that, but like when I watched Bronson and the characters he's played, like from Peaky Blinders and stuff like that.
The one where he was the Spitfire.
Yeah, he was good.
Pilot.
Yeah,
on the evacuation when the lads are trying to
Dunkirk.
Yeah, they're trying to get back from Normandy, and he's just flying around. And
I just like the way he downplayed it. He didn't try to be like, it was just the way you believed that he was a gunner, and he was a Spitfire pilot, and he was doing these carrying out these functions.
I've flown a Spitfire. Yeah, it's in my
resume,
in my video channel, folks. If you want to watch an actual Spitfire converted into like a simulator.
We've got a Spitfire. That's the whole thing of this film I'm trying to make called We'll Meet Again. We've got a Spitfire. This is how I wrote the script for it. It's called We'll Meet Again. It's about Lieutenant Go, a true story of a young Spitfire pilot who was flying from St Evell in Cornwall, trying to get back to his base in St Evell in Cornwall during the Second World War, and he'd running out of fuel, run off course, and at night, obviously, they couldn't land so well at night, could they? Because they didn't have like landing strips, and he was off course, and he crashed in Morla, which is about 15 miles from here, crashed and died. But the tragic story behind his death is the fact that his girlfriend at the time didn't know that he died and didn't find out that he died in the second that crashed. She just thought he'd blown her out, but the mum didn't like her. So she kept that from her, and she didn't find out that Lieutenant Goa died until 2007. And then she went back to this whole film. This was filmed as well, that she went back to the church and looked at his grave, and she just thought she'd been dumped. How mad is that? So I created this whole story of Lieutenant Go around what would that last half an hour be like if you was in the cockpit of a Spitfire and you tell my partner, I love her and I wanted to get married to her. He knows he's going to die. So there's this whole conversation between, so it's like, what would that be like? The dramatization of the conversation between the radio op, and then the radio op realizes, she's got to inform the headquarters, and they said, right, we're going to have to redact this information and we can't pass on that message that I love you. And then obviously it goes to the mother, and then the mother goes, no, she's not to find out. So we've created a love story that's based on a true incident, but obviously that we're going to add we've added a script in there. So
every bloody pilot or aircrew that lost their lives.
He was 19. He was 19.
There's a story in all of them, isn't there?
But imagine being a child up there. I mean, you've flown a plane, but I couldn't imagine flying a plane. I can't even drive a car properly. I can drive a car, but I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, imagine trying to get back from bloody France over the Channel in fog or in cloud with no instruments, just heading on
and how cold it is. Yeah, you're in
mental. I'll tell you what. One last story, then, right? When you was young, did your old man ever come out with a story, and like he'd never told you he'd never ever told you, and when he told you, you were like, why didn't you tell me that before?
Yeah.
Well, this is one of those stories. So my dad was at school putting the cricket nets out, and he said he heard this noise, and he looked up, and a RAF pilot flying something like a Spitfire had he'd had to eject from his machine or jump out of it, and his chute had Roman candled.
And
my dad went, he said he just died on the floor in front of me. And I was about, I don't know, like 19 or 20 when my dad told me this. I'm like, you never told me that before. You're like, no.
What? But he might have been traumatized by it, and that generation they didn't speak about things like that.
There could have been all that going on, mate. It was just one of
those... my nan in Falmouth, who grew up in Falmouth, she was going to school and literally watched the whole road get torn up by a German plane. Like, I mean, I don't know the right terminology for what the right plane was, but and then my other nan was,
Fokker.
yeah,
I'm not talking about the plane. I was talking about you.
yeah, but my other nan was from Italy, and so my granddad was in the Duke of Cornwall Light Infantry coming up through Africa and then up through Italy, and she would tell me that she would hear on the radio, this is Radio London, the British are on their way, so she could hear the troops, and then she met my granddad, and he was like 10 years older than her, and asked to marry her, and like their marriage photograph is in a bombed out city. But she remembers being kicked out of her house, kicked out of her house by the Germans. Would have to go and get water for the Germans. So her bedroom was apparently, she told me, was used as a gun emplacement. So phenomenal stories. And you just think that's only 75, 80 years ago.
My dad was digging in the back garden. We lived in a little village on the edge of Dartmoor, and he dug up a shell from the Second World War, big shell, but that
brought
big.
it in.
The one, it's like the tip of a pencil. It really,
yeah.
They used to just, I guess it was some sort of incendiary, and
turned it into an ashtray. Just had it by his chair like that to ashtray.
Well, no, we called the police, as you do, and then we all stood in the front window looking at it out the window, looking at the bomb in our garden, as if like a piece of glass is going to protect you from it.
Yeah, you'd have been well protected there, mate.
And like my dad's right, and nobody go near it. Do it right. The police are on the way. Copper rocked up, looked at it, picked it up, chucks it in the boot of his Cortina, and buggers.
Oh no, that's it.
But it would have been.
I was in mortars, and when we used to have a misfire on a mortar, on the 81mm mortar, we used to have the tool removing misfire round, and it was always like it went down the top of the round, it clipped onto it, and then it was like these straps that, like webbing straps. So you would pinch the webbing straps. You'd never hold it with your hand, because if that round just suddenly goes, shoots out, obviously it's going to rip your hands off of it. So you used to pinch together. One would be on number one on one side, number two on the other side, and you just gently pull out this round. And then as you pulled it out of the barrel, you suddenly, this thing has been ignited, and then you have to walk out 40 meters, gently, calmly walk out. But your heart was in it. I hate it. I never liked handling grenades. You just think this shouldn't be in my hand. Remember priming a grenade and then screwing it on and then putting it in your pocket.
No, I never actually got to do that. That is actually part of Royal Marines training, is you have to chuck a grenade, but for some reason we never did it.
Really?
Yeah. I
think we had a raw engineer in Jordan. We was doing a grenade range, and I remember Craig McBurney. He took this raw engineer up, and he was just going on and on about how experienced he was. And there's no judgment of any raw engineers out there, because I've trained raw engineers, and there's just this one raw engineer guy who was working with us, and he went like that. He done the old, because you're supposed to chuck it like a stone, aren't you? You aim and you chuck it like a stone. You don't do, because we obviously, when we was kids, we used to like throw it like we were bowling over. I don't know why. Okay, grenade.
I thought
and he literally did that.
I thought
he just threw it.
Bowl it.
No, he literally threw it in front of himself like that, and literally the grenade just dropped. And then Craig just grabbed him, pulled him out the way quickly, and it went off. And literally, he had a bit of spring in his ass or something. And yeah, one of my mates got severely hurt and ended up with PTSD from teaching people red asses at Catterick, and again threw the grenade in front of them.
Insane, brother. Listen, let's cap it there.
Yeah, mate, been a great night.
I got a photo shoot to do. I think it's Vogue this time, or one of the.
Yeah,
I lose track. I do so many.
Well, thank you, audience, for tonight, and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, yes, let's just say a massive thanks to Manchester Girl and Greg for your kind
thank you, Manchester
support
Girl.
of the channel.
Thank you, Greg.
Really, really does mean an awful lot. And to everyone, all the wonderful people in our chat who've been incredibly well behaved. Thank you ever so much. Quite a few names there. Thank you to Luke for everything.
Cheers, Luke.
And thank you to you, mate, for being you and for being my mate and for coming on the show again and for coming up for almost 3 wonderful hours with me. I normally have to pay people to spend time with me, but
and if you want to watch my film for free, Diary of a Disgraced Soldier, I think there's a link below, so check it out.
Yes, links below for Martin's stuff, so get on it. The Diary of a Disgraced Soldier is a must watch.
It's a good laugh. It's a right good comedy.
Well, for anyone that's joining late, it's the story of Martin in Iraq. When his battalion grabbed 3 it doesn't really matter, but 3 youngsters that were rioting and chucking grenades over the wall and all this kind of stuff. And Martin was the guy that filmed it, and he got in big trouble with the news. Well, it was,
just watch the film. Watch the film, and it will. And Penitent, we're going to get that squared away. We're going to get that put on one of the channels soon. So come into a TV service station near you.
Excellent.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. Don't feel you've got to stay on the line. I'm just going to play us out. And or you can stay and say goodbye. It's completely up to you.
If I can stay and say goodbye, it'd be great, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cool. Massive love to everybody out there. Look after yourselves. If you can like and subscribe.
So.
And we'll see you next time.